Am I the a-hole for backing out of my friend's wedding because he's marrying a cheating whore? This is a long one, folks. Wanted it to be shorter, but in order for me to find value in the responses, I think you need details. Currently, I'm 27 male. He's 27 male. She's 25 female. By the way, this comes from a throwaway account on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, January 2021, we went on a boys' golf trip. The last night of the trip, while at the bar, buddy, we'll call him C, met Charles. Met and eventually brought home a girl, we'll call her Sally. At the time, Charles was 25 and Sally was 22 or 23. They effed that night, whole house could hear, and then stayed in touch after we left. Not long after, he told us they're going to try a long-distance relationship 2-hour plane ride. Whoa, fast.
Would you do that? What's that,
What?
Las Vegas? What is 2 hours from here?
I mean, it depends. I would do a long distance relationship depending on the person.
Yeah, but how far away is that from here?
2 hours?
Yeah.
I don't know, like 300, 600 miles, 800 miles. I didn't think much of it at the time, other than from what I had seen, she wouldn't be the type of girl me or any of her close friends would consider for a serious relationship, especially at the cost of it being long distance, but to each their own. So we just supported him. Not too long into the relationship, they were fighting a lot. She would post him on her Insta, then delete him, do all kinds of weird, childish crap. During that time, he would speak to us for advice, and based on all the information we consistently recommended, end the relationship. It's also important to note that Charles is one of the nicest, most genuine people I know. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body, and he's a handsome guy too. At no point in our time growing up together did he ever have a problem with the ladies. So essentially, he's got ample options available to him, but somehow he's settling down with this.
He's probably like, oh, she treats me bad, but I
love it. I love the bad,
the stepping
the
on
toxic,
the throat.
you know? Oh. 7 months into the relationship, he was DM'd on Instagram by a random girl claiming he had found out her boyfriend was cheating and the girl he was effing was Sally. Ooh. Charles told us what was going on, but once Sally started making threats about him responding or listening to the girl DMing him, he blocked the girl.
Oh, dude.
Dude, she's got him wrapped around her finger.
That would be so hard to see a friend go through that.
Dude.
Knowing he's being mistreated that bad.
It is the worst. I then reached out directly and got all the screenshots and proof. No need to get into the details, but it was very clear Sally was effing this girl's boyfriend. Despite that clearly being the case, they worked through it and decided to stay together. Is that worth working through? Is that worth working
I think
through?
It was, don't ever mention it again.
And he's like, okay,
yep.
Sorry. I bet he was apologizing at some point.
Oh.
Around a year later, while he was down visiting Sally, her roommate pulled him aside. Charles had been going down there and staying for extended periods of time, working from home, buying her nice things, taking her out to nice places. He even bought her an effing Peloton, which is like thousands of dollars.
Oh, the bikes?
Yeah, the stationary bikes. So I guess with seeing all these things, Sally's roommate sat him down while Sally was at work and told him essentially, hey, I can't just sit here and watch this happen. Sally has been sleeping with our neighbor for months now, even going on trips to Miami, and you deserve to know, considering everything you're doing. I have pictures and any evidence you might want.
Ooh.
W roommate. With that, Charles left the apartment and called me immediately. You guys were so effing right. I'm out of here. She's been effing her neighbor for months. Need to drop her car off at work, then I'm heading straight to the airport. I would have lit that car on fire, but to each their own. We continued the conversation, and as I was aware of the way she gaslit him the last time something like this happened, I advised him to say nothing or close to nothing, just hand her the keys, leave them somewhere, and walk away. As he arrived to her work, we hung up. I see you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just gonna be wrapped around her finger again. I feel like he doesn't have the self-confidence
the
or
backbone.
the backbone to really stand up to her. Don Lasky says, whipped must be 5 stars in bed, probably. Dude, honestly, good spicy sleep will put a haze over you like nothing else.
Yeah.
Like nothing else. You'll think you're in love, but it's just good spicy sleep. We've all been there. Well, crickets.
Oh, no.
He completely stops answering any of our texts and calls. Did I consider the fact that this wench had killed him? Yes, I did. But almost equally sad reality was true. She somehow gaslit him to be okay with it and stay with her and probably cut off all his friends. Vix Mix says, I see you. Tomlet says, I see you. Jellyba says, welcome to your first live. Also, if it's your first live, welcome. This was the point where he even called me and our other family friend a few days later and lied to us, claiming the roommate made it all up. Everything's fine. Nothing to worry about. What he failed to realize is when he sent us proof the roommate provided, the neighbor's phone number was in the screenshots. We called the neighbor. Everything mentioned was true. Charles didn't answer us once we confirmed that. Radio silence for a while after. After that, our entire group of friends were pushing him to get out. He completely stopped mentioning her or telling us anything about the relationship. Not sure if it was just sick of it or he was embarrassed or what, but that's just what he decided to do.
He's too
Important
deep.
note, he's too deep. He's too deep in it. Important note, only 3 of us knew about either cheating situation. Everyone else in his life just hated her for her character, and I promise you would too. She's the type of girl who has a new best friend every other month, and when you ask about the old one, it's always some form of she's an effing B, which totally red flag.
Oh, yeah.
Total red flag.
You can't keep a friend?
Yeah. Toxic stuff like that is the reality of who she is. Another important note, the backdrop of Charles's personal situation throughout this all, his father had cancer when we first went on the trip, and it wasn't good. Eventually, after many surgeries and treatments, he went into remission and is cancer-free today, but probably looking for a shoulder to cry on, honestly. He's in like a heart emotional spot. However, before that happened, Charles's mother was diagnosed with a different, more severe form of cancer. Oh.
Dude, and I know for a fact that Sally was not there. Well, not there, and definitely doing things she probably shouldn't be doing.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, she did not have the same results, and it brings tears to my eye writing this that she's no longer with us as of last winter.
Oh.
It was no wonder Charles is as nice and as good of a person as he is when you met his father and mother. 2 incredibly kind and genuine people. Her sweet presence and kind generosity will forever be missed. I mention that because I think it's an important backdrop to this all. During the time they were dating, we all noticed a big difference in him. The Charles today versus the Charles that went on the golf trip is different. It's like the lights are on, but nobody's home. He was never the sharpest tool in the shed, but seemingly he's just become spacier and spacier.
Oh, dude, I have been here before. It's such a bad place to be in because you're giving yourself to the other person thinking, oh, everything I need to do needs to be for them. And you've lost yourself. Like you said earlier.
You lost yourself. You lose your friends. You lose your family. It's like when you have an emotional demanding relationship, just like all of your essence just gets absorbed by this person that's causing you problems, causing you like emotional turmoil, and there's not space in your life to take care of yourself. And so you just, you throw it all away for some great throat, as Bell Contling says.
Dude, it's so sad. And the second you're out of it, the weight on your shoulders is gone, and you realize, wow, all these relationships I had are gone, and I have to rebuild them.
Yeah, start from zero.
So sad.
I don't know all the different ways trauma presents itself, but I know he's dealt with a lot, and I also know he's never received professional help with it.
Oh.
And I don't think Sally would ever let him do it, even if we convinced him to do it. I wholeheartedly believe she used his situation to manipulate him into needing her there for him. She took advantage for sure. Before his mother passed away, we received word from one of his high school friends who also hates Sally, but knows nothing we know, that Charles is flying down to propose to Sally that day. He purposely didn't tell any of his closest friends because he knew exactly what we would all say. Despite that, I reached out with one last effort. I just wanted to make sure of that because he didn't consult any of us with that info, that he at least discussed at length with his parents. He assured me he did and that they supported him. So from there, it was just a face in palm situation. My best friend is marrying a manipulative, cheating and that's just the way it is. Not long before that, she moved up to us and they got an apartment together.
Ooh, would this help with the cheating or not?
I don't think so. Cheater's always going to find a way to cheat.
Oh my gosh.
Don Lasky says Sally doesn't want him healthy. She'd have to kiss the 5K presents goodbye. Yeah. Because he's probably, honestly, what's probably happening is he's giving those presents as a way to buy her affection because she's like not being loyal to him. Once the engagement happened, it felt like there was nothing we could do. At this point, Sally had all of Charles's friends blocked on all social media. This actually happened a long time prior when she was still deleting his pics from her page every time they would fight. Guess she didn't want us to see it, lol. About 3 months ago, she sent me a follow request. I have 0 presence on Instagram, just a blank page that I use for scrolling purposes. Haven't posted since high school, and everything has been deleted for a while now. This was her remedial attempt at mending the relationship. She absolutely hated me up to this point, and for good reason. I saw through her BS and recognized she's a bad person to her core. No morals, no values, just a secular wench who's woefully misguided by the cultures of TikTok and social media as a whole. In different words, I made Sally and Charles aware of that realization as well. For obvious reasons, I was not initially asked to be in the wedding. However, around 2 weeks after receiving her follow request, he called and asked me to be a groomsman. Now, at this point, I hadn't dealt with or heard of any of her BS in around a year. The most recent developments with him were about his mother having already accepted that we tried everything we could do to stop this and not wanting to lose a good friend. I accepted. Question, would you accept? No?
That's not my friend anymore. That's not my dog. My dog wouldn't lose himself like this.
And I almost feel like if you were a groomsman, that would be complicit in taking this relationship that would go down a bad.
Like you're agreeing with it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I might try to make a last effort stand to say, like, dude, I can't be in this wedding because I've seen what this has done to you and it's tearing you apart.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
Oh, man.
Oh, this is so sad. The wedding is down where she's from, so it's basically a destination wedding. They were kind enough to plan it on New Year's Eve. That's right, not New Year's Eve, but the night before. So now everyone is lucky enough to pay New Year's Eve travel prices, all while probably having nothing to do on New Year's Eve. Sally is really just so inconsiderate of others. Now, here's the kicker. After everything mentioned above, I basically was over giving an F. He's ruining his life. We tried to stop it, but he's an adult now, so it is what it is, were my thoughts. Well, last week, I found out that while she was still living down there, for some insane reason, when Charles found out a friend from his high school was visiting in her town, he suggested, oh, no, I see you. Put I see you in the comments if you see what's coming. He suggested they link up to meet up and hang out. Now, do I understand why he would do that when he knows she's a absolute hoe? Absolutely the F not, but it happened nonetheless. And as you probably guessed, they F'd. Real scumbag move on the friend's part, but that will be handled separately. Once hearing this, I went to Instagram to see the guy, recognize the name, but I wanted to put a face to it. While doing this, I realized Charles doesn't follow him anymore, but Sally does. So Charles clearly knows this happened, which my source told me too. It seems this time she actually confessed to Charles, but is doing her classic cheating hoe move. She claimed she brought his friend home, but only gave him head.
Oh my gosh. Claimed? That's a lie, first off. And second off, why did you do that?
It's still terrible. I still don't know if I'm more disgusted by those actions or by her manipulation. It's all just so effing gross. But you know what's not gross and probably will save you is joining our live every weekday on YouTube at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. Lastly, I will note, after the second cheating situation, I point blank asked him if he had any type of cuckold fetishes or something like that. I made it clear if that's the case, there's no judgment and nothing to be ashamed of. You just have to tell us. But if that's the case, we need to know because it changes everything. By his response, I was convinced he does not have any sort of fetish. I've known him since 4th grade. He's a terrible liar. But now I'm sitting here with a handful of options, all bad. I can sit him down and tell him what I learned. Probably should do that. I could tell him what I found out and let him know that I can't support the marriage. Or I could do nothing. If you can think of other options I would love to hear it. But am I the a-hole for doing any of those 3 options? Which would you do? I want to know. We have a little bit more from OP in the relevant comments. But what would you do, Riley, of those 3?
I would proceed with the first one. Tell him what I know.
Yep.
And if still wants to have the marriage, I'd be like, dude, I cannot be there with you. You're way better than this.
Yeah, you're way better at this. This is going to destroy you. I don't want to be complicit in your destruction.
Like if this happened to Christian and I just saw this happen, like one of those French mommies got a hold of him and he was just doing all this. Like, dude,
those French goth mommies.
you're better
Dude,
than
those
this.
goth girls will ruin your life,
You're better than this.
but in the funnest way.
But imagine if he stopped doing cars, like shooting cars and stuff because of this. He stopped doing tennis.
Yeah, with his new friend.
Yeah, with his new friend. It would be so sad.
It would be so sad. I would still be his friend to support him, but I wouldn't go to the marriage.
You wouldn't?
I don't think so.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about that if that happened with Christian.
Wait, let me think.
This has been going on for 4 years. You have seen and known how much that she's been cheating on him, and he won't listen to you at all.
Frick.
Would you still go? He's
Would I still
completely
go?
lost himself. The lights are on, but no one's at home.
I would say I'm still going to be your friend, but I can't go to this marriage because I don't support it.
And as soon as you click back into reality, I will be there for you.
Yeah. Coffee Girl says, tell him what you learned and don't support the marriage. I think, yeah, tell him what you learned.
Yeah.
Don't support the marriage, but say, hey, I'm going to still like be with your, like be your friend, but just know I think you're throwing your life away.
Yeah. Miss J Bird also say, I'm sorry you don't believe you deserve better.
Facts, dude.
Yeah.
But we do got some relevant comments and a response from OP. So Sassafras45 says, not the a-hole. Is anyone else of your friend group in the wedding party? Is it worth it for 3/4 of you to know certain things, to sit down with him as a group like an intervention? There's still a possibility of backing out if he still won't see reasons, depending on how the convo goes. But if his closest friends aren't supportive and don't show up, maybe that'll click for him. And OP responds, only 2 of us are in the wedding. The other 3 have given up and basically made that clear. 1 is definitely not going to the wedding. 1 is a maybe, and a 3rd is going, but not a groomsman. I spoke with the other groomsmen last night, and whatever we decide, we'll do it together.
That's nice. And this happened 5 days ago, so there definitely is an update.
There'll be an update soon. Oh, you think there's an update now?
No, I looked. There isn't an update.
But wow. Dude, it's so sad that this guy's throwing his life away for a goth mommy, you know?
Wild. Like, I just can't get over the fact that you aren't yourself anymore. And that's the saddest part.
But dude, you know, like when people have low self-confidence and the spicy sleep is to die for, you know, a lot of things can be thrown out the window.
But after a while, the spicy sleep just becomes numb.
Maybe.
What happens when that goes away?
I don't know, maybe it's that good.
I don't know, man.
Dude, sometimes good spicy sleep, like I go to a different dimension.
Man, this guy spares no details. I'll tell you what. Oh, Sophia!
Sophia's
Yay!
back.
Thank gosh. We got one.
Lively Tome says, stop the goth slander. To be clear, I'm not hating on the goth babes.
No,
I'm just saying
I got one. Part-time.
Yeah.
She's alternative.
Not
Part-time
have a
goth babe.
Angie is not goth.
She's alternative.
It's not goth.
She's alternative.
Okay, but it's not goth.
Am I the a-hole for not telling my wife that my girl best friend used to be my friends with benefits because she told me not to? We're going to answer that question. And the question of, can you maintain a relationship with an ex after you break up? It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do.
It is.
But also someone who is hard in the studio with us right now is Kevin.
Certified psychiatrist, baby.
That's all right.
Everything out of my mouth today is guaranteed good advice. You can take it to the bank.
Yeah.
Honestly, you can guess literally everything that's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
And then prescribe them. The world's
Yeah.
best guesser.
I am
in
the world's
building.
best guesser. That is a fact.
Let's go.
It's a factual fact.
But let's jump into this story. So I have been having arguments with my wife and standing my ground on a policy we made when we were dating. However, somehow I feel I might be in the wrong and wanted to get a neutral opinion on the issue. So for context, my wife and I are both in our mid-30s and are deeply religious. Please don't judge us on this.
Too late.
You know what they're about to say.
Please
Guess
don't
it,
judge
Kevin.
us.
Too late.
It's too late? Uh-oh.
Once the Lord's involved, it becomes a whole nother story. Keep going. I'm all ears.
She is quick to judge people who do not have the same belief system as her, which was basically us 10 seconds ago. I also like our modest lifestyle and how great of a wife she has been. However, I was not always like this. I grew up in a small religious town in the South where our social life revolved around the church. I worked very hard to get into college on the East Coast as far away from my town as possible, and I feel like OP is going to go wild.
Maybe if you worked just as hard on your fucking marriage, you wouldn't be here. That's my first thought.
Instead of partying all
That's
day
my
in
first
college.
thought. Yeah, you just said.
Yeah.
Well, as any person who has repressed his desires for years, I had a very wild college life and slept with a lot of girls.
Oh, God.
All right, flex OP. Come on. After I graduated, I continued to be the same until I met a girl who I became deeply emotional. Oh, wait, no. Who became deeply emotionally involved with me.
Ooh.
Not I was like involved with her. No, she became involved with me.
Is this man looking for help or he's just showing off? Like, I'm
That's
confused.
what it seems like.
You know, these girls are just falling in love with me. I'm just fucking around. I
He's
don't know.
like, oh, help me. I went through college. I banged so many women. I'm losing my mind. And like, what?
just boring to me now.
Despite clearly communicating, I wanted to date casually. Oh, no. Could not take the fact that I was with other girls when dating her and she had an emotional breakdown, thought I was cheating on her. I cared about her too, and it broke something in me. I started therapy and learned that I had an addiction and worked very hard to improve myself.
Addicted to what?
I think sex.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for him to have the therapy thing.
Right?
That
Dude,
is- I was about to
bro,
say,
that
I was-
therapy thing?
that
That
therapy-
therapy
It
thing?
took a turn.
Crazy.
He's like, I was going through college, just wiping just left and right. And then I went to therapy and found myself. It's like,
I think he's
okay.
become a new man. We'll see. So I also joined a church around the same time and started appreciating my religious upbringing. I reconnected with my parents and sisters and was celibate for almost 2 years. Let's go. I only dated with the goal of getting married and met Amy, my wife. We had similar values and she was saving herself for marriage. I told her about my past and she said that she only cares about my present and my future. Very cute.
Oh,
I don't know.
As we started
I love
getting
when women
close,
lie.
we started discussing spicy sleep, and she told me that she is worried that it would be painful when we eventually do it. Me, being a stupid buffoon, told her about girls who were virgins when we slept together and how they described their experience.
Oh my God. Wait, real fast. Number one rule. You don't compare your current girlfriend to past women you've been with.
You don't do that?
That's
Especially if she's a
rule.
celibate virgin.
Yeah, you don't walk into a room like, oh, I've seen this before. Like, what?
I know exactly what
Let
you're
me draw
going
this
to.
diagram.
This is
Look,
textbook.
I've done this so
I
many
got them on the
times. It's not
phone,
even
too.
special to me to do it again. You know,
You can
It's
talk
like,
to my satisfied customers just so you know it'll be
Oh,
okay.
Yikes.
She said I should never mention my exes and spicy sleep to her ever again as it was disgusting. She basically turned pale like she saw a ghost. We had a big fight. I agreed and we implemented our don't ask, don't tell policy.
On Pride Month?
And on Pride Month.
Crazy.
It basically
Hey, George
means
Bush.
she would never ask me about my past and I would never bring it up. All right, really quick, breaking this down for a
Yes.
sec. What do you think about a don't ask, don't tell policy? Because I feel like when it
On Pride Month.
yeah.
Yes.
When it is applied to relationships and ex-partners, because I feel like it's important to talk about your past experiences so you can
Spicy
move
sleep
forward.
experiences, which, by the way, that's our word for monetization.
Spicy sleep?
Spicy sleep.
That's
Wow.
where us and our community have a...
I'm taking that with me.
Dude,
I'm
please.
leaving with that.
Please
make
do.
it a
Yeah,
thing.
spicy
It will-
sleep.
Your videos, fully monetized.
Yeah,
Fully monetized.
spicy sleep.
and it's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
But yeah, what do you think? Do you think it is a good idea to talk about past relationships in your current relationship?
Well, are we talking about past relationships or past spicy sleep experiences?
Well, like I think that maybe it sounds like they're just talking about like past spicy sleep experiences, but it really like he's bringing this up because of like she's worried about something. He's like, oh, like, you know, this is why you shouldn't be worried. It's not just spicy sleep. What she said, I should never mention my exes and spicy sleep ever again. So I think it's like
Both.
both.
Mhm. I have a rule.
Talk to me.
My rule is, well, I think I tell my fiance everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I don't hold anything back. As in, if she asks me something, I'm always gonna tell her whatever it is she asked me.
Yeah.
but I never talk about past relationships unless asked.
Ask then tell.
Yeah, so
You're
like
ask then tell.
I'm never like withholding information.
Yeah.
Right. I think the best way to have a good relationship is to just be so open and communicative that there's never this feeling of like,
Do I know everything?
does he think this right now? Like, it should feel like you know exactly what your partner is thinking, but you also don't want to open doors that can introduce doubt or insecurity unless you're both willing to go down that road. Like if she came to me and she was like, I want to hear about this person, I'd be like, great, what do you want to hear about it?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you everything up to whatever you want to know. But if you're like, hey, I don't think it's healthy for me to know these things, then I just won't say. But but you know you can if you want.
What about intentionally? Like sometimes I'll say, oh, I did this thing with a friend, of like relating a past experience I had, where instead of saying girlfriend, because I feel like all of my past
That's a lie.
experiences are with
fucking lie.
girlfriends.
That's a fucking lie.
So you think
That is technically a lie.
If you're gonna say, you gotta say, I used to. You gotta just be straight up, say it like it is. Like that. I think that's even worse because if you're like kind of jumping around it, eventually you're gonna get to the middle of it, and then the question is gonna be, why did you call her your friend in the first place? Why were you jumping around? Are you hiding something?
So all right, with your rule, are you saying, like, are you talking about your past relationships casually? I was like, oh, like I went scuba diving with my girlfriend like a couple years ago. So
No.
you
Wasn't
never,
asked.
but you never bring up past experiences with exes.
It depends on the scenario, but like, why should I? You are my whole world, and you'll always be my whole world. Nothing else matters. I don't even remember those past experiences.
You don't.
Memory's gone. Don't ask, don't remember. That's,
Other girls?
That's my number.
The fuck you talk? I don't even look at other women.
Right?
I didn't even know Sophia was there until you guys started talking to somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? No, it's like your income. You don't be talking about your income with people, right? I guess
Maybe.
we just talked about ours. Like an hour ago.
Yeah.
I think transparency in all things is good, but I do remember I was dating this girl, and I talk about past experiences with exes because it comes up, not like in gross detail of spicy sleep stuff, but just like, oh, like I went to like the Netherlands with this ex and we saw blah 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 blah.
But if you were with your current girlfriend and you arrive in the Netherlands and she's like, oh my God, me and my ex Jimmy used to come here all the time. Like, what are you gonna say?
Oh, what places did you go? Let's hit up the best places.
And her ex is Mr. Beast, dude. Bro, he's got his videos are better than yours.
Like I'd be like, okay, well, this is no longer special, but let's just go ahead and carry on. I don't know. I'd feel like, is that necessary to bring up if you don't have to?
I think there are certain
So when
scenarios
you bring
where
it up
comes
with a
casually.
But yeah, I feel like there's certain scenarios where it comes at casually, and also
Yeah.
like if you went with a friend, just like a
For
platonic
sure.
friend, you'd be
Yes.
like, oh, like me and my friend went
Yes.
here, which is why you just say a friend.
No, because if you say friend, if she asks, have you ever been here before? And you've only been here with like a girl, then you say, yeah, I was here with like
Yeah, with my ex.
my ex. But you shouldn't say a friend if you know it wasn't just a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Sam.
When he says
It's because
he's just a friend.
I bring up exes so much
Why?
He really does though.
Why?
He really does though. At
because
least on
I've
this
done
show.
so many things with exes.
I mean, I
They were like best friends for a period of time.
guess if it works, I don't know. I've never brought up an ex, and it's turned out to be like a great conversation.
Yeah, maybe this is a learning moment for me.
I feel like here's what it is. On the spectrum, like you're like share everything. I'm kind of like more in the middle where like me and my girlfriend will like if the conversation kind of like revolves around it, we might be like, oh, this happened,
Yeah.
this whatever, but it's like very light and casual, and you're like 100% don't ask.
No, I would say I'm where you are.
Ask and tell. Yeah.
Like I'm if it comes up naturally, sure.
Yeah.
But I don't like if I'm eating something and I know I've had it with an ex, I don't think to myself, I should mention I've had this with my ex. You
Well,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
I'm not doing stuff like that. But
That's only if you're Sam.
it comes up
That's
naturally.
only if you're Sam.
Um,
Sam's thinking back at all the times he said something.
Oh my god.
No ex-dog anymore.
He takes like 15 trips this year.
Recently, my friend Emily divorced with her husband. Emily was my best friend since childhood. We are from the same town and also close to my wife. We all live in the same town. Emily and her husband were also part of our church. My wife and I let Emily move into our house while her husband moved out. My wife and I have been helping Emily with some household stuff and getting her life in order. This sometimes involves her calling us in the evening to take care of some stuff or help with the kids. My wife mentioned to me that she's a bit uncomfortable with me spending alone time with Emily because now she is single. However, she understands Emily is like family to me and wants me to help her and her kids in her time of need. So my wife asked me if Emily and I have ever been intimate together in the past.
They're like family, but like Alabama family.
Alabama family.
This,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is an episode of One Tree Hill. I'm 92% sure this is a script out of One Tree Hill, and I'm loving every second.
So she knows we never dated, but she wants to know if we ever kissed. The truth is, Emily and I were friends with benefits for almost 3 years until I started therapy. Emily and I always kept it a secret and never told anyone.
Yo, wait. 3 years?
3 years.
But when in the timeline is that 3 years? Like,
It was 3 right before he started therapy and like turned his life to celibacy.
so this was during his college era.
This was when he was still like
Cleaning
F-boy era.
house.
Yeah. I am a changed man now and intend to stay loyal to my wife until I die. I told my wife that it is irrelevant and I am a loyal husband and cannot believe she would think I would be attracted to Emily. I did offer to her that I will not hang out. Yeah, I would not be attracted to Emily. We were just friends with benefits.
Yeah,
for
okay,
3
big
years.
guy.
Yeah. She's super ugly, guys.
I am a loyal, sound like a politician. I am a loyal man. Till death do us apart. It's like, yeah, dude, you signed a contract. We know.
I did offer to her that I will not hang out with Emily alone and only go to her place when my wife is with me. My wife did not like me dodging the question and kept on prodding. I invoked our don't ask, don't tell policy that we have followed for more than 10 years now. My wife is upset at me that I am not giving her a straight answer. On the other hand, feel that it is unfair to me to tell her about Emily now when she forbade to talk about it all these years. I know that there's a good possibility that my wife would again freak out after knowing the truth and most probably ask me to never see Emily again. I wanted opinions on what I should do in this case. Am I wrong to keep the truth from my wife because we made a promise to never bring it up in the past, which is horrible when I think about it now? Or is my wife in the wrong to break our policy by asking me about Emily? There are additional comments and a big juicy update, but who do you think is in the wrong here? Who is the a-hole?
He's not breaking the policy. She's asking a question and he's not telling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's don't ask, don't.
This
well,
guy is
it's-
Clinton.
Yeah,
Got
I did
the
not
don't
have
ask,
sexual
don't
relations.
Tell policy,
Yeah.
and he didn't have sexual relationships with
Whoa.
this woman.
Is her name Monica? Whoa.
So he's saying, first of all, he's talking about his wife like she's a staff member at a company, invoking policies and shit like that. Like, bro, this is another human.
3, section 12.
Yeah, right.
And it's also when
Yeah.
you make it, like rules are subject to change within a
Yeah.
marriage if you both discuss on it and like and talk
Yes,
about
bro.
it.
Look at the Constitution. They should probably update that shit, but that's besides the point. Like, I think being truthful and honest to your wife stomps everything. It doesn't matter what, you know what I mean? That's,
Yeah.
am I in the wrong for not being truthful to her? Like, yes. You know?
I think if
Yeah.
she's asking, you should
yes,
say
for
something.
sure. That's your wife.
Yeah.
100%. At a minimum, if he said like, I am going to tell you, you might not like the answer. Do you still want to know?
Yes.
So there's like a warning of like, hey,
Yeah,
you might
yeah.
not like what you hear.
Because
Maybe he could say that.
Because just remember, she was a virgin beforehand,
Damn.
right?
I mean,
before
yeah, it's great.
before their marriage, and also
Awesome, amazing.
and also what her question is not were you like raw dogging it on the rag for 3 years? It was, have you ever kissed?
Yeah.
Like just for a like I'm not saying he shouldn't tell the truth, but just know that the truth that he is about to tell is probably way more than what she is expecting.
So
For sure.
warn her and then give her the option.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, you might not like the answer. Do you still want to know? Yes, I'm gonna tell you everything you want to hear.
Which
If
is
no,
why I
then
think you
not.
should tell your partner everything, all the gory details
Thank
about all
you.
your your
Yes.
exes.
Yes.
You should talk about all your exes with your fiance.
Okay, hold on. Let me
Let's start now.
throw that I wrote.
Yeah, call her.
So, first of all, I want to say this is not financial advice. Second, just to protect
Or
myself.
fiance advice.
Or fiance advice. Or dating advice. I'm not an expert. I just simply know everything.
Yep.
I'll say this. For me, when I got into my relationship, I made an effort the first 3 months to be as honest and as myself as possible.
Yes.
Because you know when you start dating someone,
Yeah.
you kind of adjust to be the perfect boyfriend. So
Yeah.
like,
Trying to impress them and like
right,
win
like
them
let's
over.
say you don't, and it can be small things like, I don't like olives, or I don't like scary movies. But she likes scary movies. Let's say, let's go see a scary movie. You might say, yeah, sure. Although you don't really want to go see a movie because you want to, cater.
Yeah.
I played the game of, no, I don't watch that.
Yeah.
I was so like myself,
Anti-love bomb.
just so honest. I told her I was scared of commitment. I was like, she's going to love me at my fucking self 100%.
Yeah.
That way when the
That when you
honeymoon shit
start
wears
being
off.
Yeah.
dishonest. I was honest for the first 3 months.
That way
And then
she
we
thinks
bring in
I'm
the
always
lies.
honest.
Wow.
No, but that way there's no surprises.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But
It's under promise, over deliver.
over deliver.
That's what that is.
So I think you should always be honest. But in this scenario, like, bro, he's got to tell her. He can't. Don't ask, don't tell. But
Yeah. I think definitely tell. In this specific situation, she's asking tell, but you can kind of give a preamble where it's like, hey, we do have history. How much do you want to know?
for sure.
You know?
It's all about how you package it.
Yeah.
The same
Yeah.
thing can be said, you.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it's
Yeah.
like if you
Yeah.
package the information however you think the person's going to receive it best.
Yeah.
You know? Like I've even noticed with me how different me and my fiance receive information. Like I'm like a tough love kind of person. So like if I'm having a bad day, she'll text me and be like, it's going to be fine. Like you worked really hard. Like just know you it's okay to have bad days. And that shit don't work with me. My best friend Aria will text me saying, stop being a and I'm like, you're right. Yeah. I gotta stop, you know? So then when my fiance's having a bad day, I would give her my
You say
antidote,
stop being a
which is, well, it was like, you'll be fine. Like, you have a great job and food on the table. Like, stop complaining.
Oh my god.
Did not go well. But then I learned, I need to give her antidote, which
Yes.
is, gonna be okay, whatever. So he just has to understand what's the best way to package that information for her and just give it to her.
Yeah, I think I learned this in one of my last relationships where she spoke in a completely different language to how I spoke. She spoke in more like spiritual language and I
Yes.
spoke in more like concrete language. And I learned to tell the truth as she needed to hear it in terms of like the language that she used rather than the truth as my mind constructed it as like these are the parameters and stuff. Yeah, it's just like packaging information.
You gotta
so people can understand
adjust
it.
based on who you're talking to, you know?
Yeah. But getting back to the comment. So,
I'm so
commenter,
curious.
you're the a-hole. Dude, use common sense. You let a friend that you used to sleep with move into your home. You didn't see it becoming a problem. OP responded, that was 14 years ago when we did that.
Wait, hold on. This is them talking?
This is a commenter on the post.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought he was recounting the conversation with his wife. I was like, yo, this is some juice.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
sorry,
are going
go
to get
ahead.
into some juice, though. And OP responds, that was 14 years ago when we did that. We were kids compared to now, and I do not think that was relevant. Moreover, my wife never wants me to talk about my dark face and has reiterated that to me over all these years. She wants to keep up the illusion that I am a religious fellow she's married who she plans to go to heaven with, which I feel like is a red flag.
That's not your man's.
Yeah.
That's
I feel
an
like you actually
illusion.
don't love your person.
Yeah, you're supposed to love that person
For
for
who
everything they've been and everything they are.
Yeah.
You don't love the illusion of them.
Yeah.
OP should have Sam'd it. I was raw dogging in an orgy every single woman in town. And that is literally all you talk about. And then if she still is like, yes, I went to a nudist community, just, fill in the gaps. Then you're good. Then she's gonna stay with you.
Wait, is this still about the guy or feels like it's about someone else?
He'll stay with her. It'll work. I promise.
Let's get into this update.
No comment from this side.
So, update. I posted a few days ago regarding not telling my wife that my best friend and I were friends with benefits a long time ago. I did this because my wife did not want to know about my horrible past, and we had a don't ask, don't tell policy in our marriage. I thank all of you for your comments and confirming what I already knew in my mind. Lying to my wife and keeping my past from her was never my intention. But we have been married for 10 years now, and I did not risk losing my wife's trust and respect over something that happened 14 years ago. But the longer you keep it away, the more trust and respect that you are going to erode.
That's true.
10 years.
I talked to my wife over the weekend. The truth was far more horrible than what I wrote in the previous post.
Shut the fuck up.
The truth?
He wasn't even honest with us.
Wait.
He wasn't even honest with us.
Bro,
Yeah.
because what this motherfucker don't ask, don't tell policy, what applies to us too?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is personal.
Yeah.
We're
What's-
asking.
Hey, put
right?
his
Tell
first and
us.
last name on here. I need his government ID.
Let's dox
We're
him.
tracking you down.
I need to
Swat him.
figure this out.
I sat my wife down and told her that I want to come clean and tell her everything. I told her that I have some conditions, though. Firstly, I will not give a yes or no answer to her questions, and she will have to listen to all the gory details. She can judge me, but she has to know I am not the man I was at the time. I was a horrible, morally bankrupt person before she met me, but through God, family, and therapy, I have overcome my demons
Amen, brother.
and work every day to repent my sins. Secondly, she will have to answer questions about her feelings truthfully to me after she hears about my past. She agreed. I told her the truth about Emily and me. Emily and I were friends since high school. While I went to college, Emily stayed home and started a job. She was dating my friend Josh since high school. I discovered a whole new world in college and found myself drawn to behaviors that I knew were against God's will, including engaging in sexual relationships with multiple partners at a time. It was like a game for me.
Wow.
Once I was visiting my
This
parents
guy's
over
Satan.
break, and Emily was curious about my college life. I described my sexual experience to her, and she kept asking more and more questions. One thing led to another, and we started sleeping together. Josh and Emily were saving themselves for marriage and waiting for Josh to get a steady job. This lasted for
stop.
3
Hold on.
years.
Hold on. I don't know if I understood that correctly. Emily is the friend.
The friends with benefits.
She was married to this guy, Josh.
I don't know if we actually know. We have just
In a relationship.
right now. It says recently my friend Emily divorced with her husband. I don't know if we know yet that Josh is her husband.
Okay, but
Yeah.
while she was dating someone,
This guy.
she was saving herself, but she was hooking up with.
Yes.
God damn.
Yep.
Yup.
Yep.
Nah, this ain't One Tree Hill. This is this is Reddit.
This
Yes. That's right.
this lasted for 3 years. And Emily and I hooked up every time I visited home. It was our little dirty. When I finally decided to seek help, I informed Emily about it. She made me promise to never talk about our fling to anyone. I felt guilty never telling the truth to Josh, but he broke up with Josh soon after. So it's not the husband. I rediscovered my spirituality and recognized the importance of repentance and recognition of my personal sin. Since then, I have lived a very disciplined life and have been a loyal husband to my wife.
Keeps going back to that, like, bro.
It's like, yeah. It's
I'm so this girl.
Oh my God, Emily was one of the virgins he tried telling her about.
Probably. But wait, so this girl is dating a guy, not sleeping with him because she's saying I'm waiting till marriage, and she's hooking up with this other guy. That's
for 3 years.
Yeah.
that is
In a
so
relationship
fucked.
for 3 years, not sleeping together, and then she's getting it from
But
the
it
guy on
doesn't
the side.
count
Whoa.
if the other guy isn't following God. It's like fake.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're hooking up with someone who's not in the church, it's like it doesn't even count.
Actually,
No.
bro, this motherfucker. I'm over here.
It's like the butt stuff loophole.
Yeah, it's a butt stuff loophole.
Literally.
If you have
loophole.
sex with garbage or in your eyes garbage, then it doesn't count.
I was like, garbage.
Garbage.
Anyways.
Amy had tears in her eyes. And I really was scared that she would leave me after hearing about my horrible past. However, she told me that she still stands by the fact that she cares about my present and my future and would never judge me. She said that God, in his infinite mercy, did not abandon me. My wife assured me that she loves me and always will. She trusts me, but just wanted to know about Emily since things have changed now. I asked her if any of my actions suggested that I was disloyal and why Emily. She told me that when Emily's husband's affair came to light, it was very shocking how such an upstanding, God-fearing man would have a years-long affair with his coworker and father a child out of wedlock.
Emily's husband had an affair. Whoa,
Years
I feel
long.
so bad. That sucks. Oh my God, the husband did that to her. Why? Because she went through something.
What goes around comes around, I guess.
Karma?
It's crazy.
This was not an isolated incident, as we had similar incidents happen in our church during the last few years. Man, I don't know if this church is doing the best job. Amy told me that it just shook her to the core. Amy was the one who suggested Emily and the kids move in with us until her husband moved out of their family home. Emily only stayed with us for a week. Emily started calling us a lot as we supported her through this rough time. However, it bothered my wife that Emily would just call me during evenings and after work, after her kids went to sleep, for support. We would sit and talk for 30 to 45 minutes, and I would leave. The final straw was a week ago when we all went to the park with Emily's kids, and I was chasing them while my wife and Emily were talking. Emily told me, my wife, that I would one day be a great father and how much I love her kids. She told my wife to start trying harder to have kids so that we can complete our family, and hopefully God would make me a father soon. My wife has struggled with infertility issues, and despite trying every medical procedure, God has still not blessed us with a child. I have suggested adoption, but my wife says that God will hear our prayers, and we just have to try as hard as we can.
Oh, he's trying hard.
He's trying hard.
It's like you can't just put everything on that. At some point, you got to be accountable as well.
Well, it's like that. It's like that classic parable of like, there's a flood coming, and I'm on top of my house, and I'm like, God will save me, and then there's like a boat that comes, like God will save me. A helicopter that comes, God will save me, and then the guy dies, and it's like, yo, I sent a helicopter and a boat. What more do you want?
Yeah.
Wait,
So,
did she know that the wife had infertility issues?
I don't think so.
Is she like planting some?
Honestly, I think you might be right.
I'm telling you. Okay,
I
look.
think you might
I'm
be
gonna tell you
right.
how this goes, right?
Talk to me.
I think she moved in that house and she's trying to get the guy back. So she's now planting ideas in the wife's mind to cause issues in the relationship.
Or sister wife situation.
What state is this?
Yeah, are we talking Utah?
It could be that kind of church.
Gonna find out.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's
Also, to all of
crazy.
our Mormon fans, we know you all aren't like that. It's only the redneck Mormons
some
in the
of you.
hills.
No, all of you, 100%.
We actually had a
Love
Mormon
Mormons.
fan come on in our
did.
in our episode last week.
I love that shit. Not well. Hold on.
The Mormons.
No,
Or,
no,
wait, the sister wife? Then?
No, you know, I grew up on different continents, so I've always been in positions where everyone is so different than me. So I love when people are so different. I almost feel like it's weird on everyone. Like when I lived in West Virginia and everybody was the same and lived there and went to school there and worked there and probably gonna die there. I thought that was cool. But when I meet people who are fully different, I'm so interested and curious. Why do you think the
Well, it just I feel like it's like reading a book that you haven't read yet.
Yeah, it's
like,
what makes
this is exciting.
the world fucking beautiful.
That's why you come to a show as diverse as this one.
Also,
yeah, honestly.
let's see who brings up surrogacy first.
That's why. Huh? Oh.
So she's like, "Hey, I'll be your surrogate." And we don't need to go through all of like the hard
The
stuff,
medical,
the expensive.
No. That's not how God intended it.
No, exactly.
Can I get an amen?
No,
Amen.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
There we go.
A fucking man.
Amy's-
There's no way she does.
Let's see. Amy said that her discussion with Emily made her feel incomplete and bad, and she is not able to make me a father. Her head started spiraling, and she started thinking that since I love Emily's kids and Emily is now single, I might leave her to go to Emily. That was the reason she wanted to know if Emily and I were ever romantically involved. I assured Amy that I would never betray her and she is enough for me. It was a very emotional time to see her feel bad about things she cannot control. I am also to blame as I am sure God is punishing her for my sins in the past. Bro, what? However, I intend to be loyal to the woman who literally saved me and be the best husband possible. I again thank you all for being frank and straightforward and helping me to tell my wife about my past. And there are some relevant comments and some responses from OP to close this story out. But how do we think, like if we were to predict what would happen next, what are we feeling is going to happen between OP, Emily, and Amy?
You're going to jail.
I'm with Kevin. I think that Emily is like, I want OP.
Yes.
And she is just sowing seeds of doubt.
Yes.
Yeah. It feels a little like that. But
Yes.
let's read these relevant comments to close this out.
She's in that house. She's missing
Her man's.
Let me tell you what she's missing.
she's a lot, including dick. She's her husband left her, and that felt like her ultimate karma, punishment, whatever. She's seeing this guy she used to have a fling with for 3 years, now older, mature,
Be loyal.
in a marriage, loyal, and
Playing
she's probably,
with her kids.
Exactly.
The kids love him.
Yes, you know what she's thinking? She's thinking
Or maybe that could still be me.
that could there it is, still be me.
So a commenter says, I think it might be time to take a step back from your friendship with Emily. Her actions are shady, calling you after work every night, telling your wife how much you love her kids. And OP responds, I had already decided to do that as my wife feels uncomfortable with the situation. Her comfort is more important to me than friends. And then a commenter says, are you still friends with Josh? OP responds, no, I cut contact with a lot of people after I started therapy. I wronged him and felt guilty to be around him. However, I never told what happened because of Emily. In fact, I had not thought about him in a really long time until this weekend when talking about this stuff to my wife. And then another commenter says, well, imagine trying to be a better person while staying friends with the girl you betrayed your friend with. And that all brings us down to the question, can you maintain a relationship with your ex after you break up?
Well,
so what do we think?
This story didn't help the case of, but as our resident expert with
Expert.
yeah, the expert,
The expert.
the expert.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
I'm talking to my ex right now.
Of course you are. I wouldn't put it past
They're
you.
all in the stream right now. They're in a group chat.
Also, good job on reading that story. You do this all the time, I'm sure, but that was fun.
Thanks,
I
dude.
thoroughly enjoyed. I felt like I was a kid, and like my mom was reading me a bedtime.
We've
Your
read.
mom was reading you some weird bedtime
And that's why you
It toughened
never
me
be
up.
friends with
Yeah.
your ex.
We didn't have Dr. Seuss in Africa. We had to get by with whatever we could.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's
But
hilarious.
yeah, I don't know. Are you friends with any of your exes?
I'm cordial with all my exes.
That's
I've
good.
Always made an effort to leave on a good note, have good relationships, but I wouldn't say I'm friends with any of them. Like I maybe my most prevalent ex, like that I dated for the longest, I probably call her maybe like every 3 years.
Oh
Just to
wow, that's
say-
a long time in between.
Yeah, I used to call her like every 6 months to a year when I was single, just to catch up, see how she's doing. Like, because these people they play a big part of your life.
A
too.
huge
Help you
part.
grow.
You know, like
100%,
for me
and
too,
vice
I
versa.
moved to America when I was like 15, and so 15 till 22 when I graduated college. A lot of the people I met there like were a big part of, I guess, my Americanization process.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to make sure like people feel like I'm not just disappearing. But obviously, as I got into my new relationship, I'm trying to be respectful of my current relationship. And so I don't keep up or call any of my exes almost at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I see a post somewhere, I don't even follow any. But if I saw a post somewhere, I may comment. Like the last time I talked to my ex, she was getting married. And I commented like, congratulations, like super happy for you.
Yeah.
I object.
Shrek.
It should have been me! I will say one of my exes,
Do it.
Oh,
Spill it.
no,
Kevin
okay,
making
it's It's a long story.
Ooh,
Okay, it's a very
we
long
got-
story. No time for it today. If I come back, I'll tell the story.
There we
But
go.
long story, and this was the first girl I fell in love with when I was young, and you know that first love is always important to you.
100%.
And we went to college. We had not broke up, but we just kind of were in different places. Started seeing this other guy, and this guy just he fucking hated me. I think he saw that like we were always kind of talking, laughing, whatever. And skip to the end, but they got married on my birthday. And one day I'll come on and tell the full story, but out of 365 fucking days, they get married. It felt personal. And the reason why I did is because me and the girl used to have this running joke when I was in college that if she ever got married to someone else, I would show up to the wedding and object. It was like a big joke we had. It was multi-layer joke, and her current husband knew about the joke, and so I feel like his way of saying "f you" to me was like, I'm gonna get married on Kevin's birthday.
Did you try to show up?
No. No, bro.
No, you should have busted in the door and be like, "Happy birthday to me."
Nah.
I don't need to object to nothing.
Come
happy.
with a cake. Happy birthday, Kevin.
Yeah.
Nah,
Everyone
Yeah,
sing to me.
a dancer come out of the
hell no. I think the stronger statement for me is always not even saying shit.
Yeah.
Bro, this is what you should have done, right? Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Planned your birthday at the venue they held the wedding at, and just pay them like a crazy amount so that way they'll let you double book.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, what? How crazy is this?
But you know, the only thing with that is that shows you still care.
Yeah.
Right? It means you're still at their mercy almost.
Yeah,
Versus
yeah.
just being like, okay.
100%. No,
You
see,
know?
that's the right thing to do. But the petty
The petty thing to do for
and
sure.
chat
For
loves
sure.
chat
Being
is petty.
For sure.
Chat is petty.
If you had given me this idea a few years ago before I became mature, I would have 100% be like, nah, I'm not walked away, booked the venue.
I booked my ex's wedding venue for my birthday YouTube video. Dude, banger.
Also, to everyone, some people have asked, who is this guy? Everyone who's new, this is Kevin Lang. He's from the Kevin Lang
You
Show.
guys don't know
Check
KSI?
check out his YouTube channel. Sophia's gonna throw it in the chat. And also, if you are friends with your ex, and you are either still friends with your ex or no longer friends with your ex, if there's like a story about you being friends with your ex, you should
I hate that guy.
you should call us with
Call
that. So
in.
DM Riley on Discord, and we'll bring you up on stage after this next story.
You ready to
Dude,
talk to the
that'd be
people?
sick.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but to answer your question, can you be friends with your ex?
Yeah.
What do you think, first of all? Because you're friends with everybody that you've dated or slept with.
I am friends with. I've tried to maintain friendships with like as many exes as I can.
What do you how do you define friendship?
I feel like I define friendship as just making like having their best interests at heart. Really.
How often
And-
do you communicate with? I love how I'm into.
Well, I mean, it kind of depends. But my last relationship, we broke up like maybe like a year and a bit ago. We talk. Like she texted me today. We talk maybe every like couple months.
Okay.
But also not. I don't know if I'm chatting with any. I'm not chatting with any of my other exes right now.
But
It's
also
more
you're
like what you
single.
were saying, I think. When it's like if something comes up.
Comes
or
up,
that's,
yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
Right.
there's a difference between being single, talking with exes, versus being in a relationship and talking with.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very different.
I don't think I think I talked a little bit like as I had like an ex and we were like still close, and then like she moved to New York, and I would like catch up with her every couple months, but the next relationship started maybe like a month or two after that, and so that kind of petered out in terms of like just like staying in touch. But I wasn't like a cold cutoff.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you talk with your exes?
I have no exes to talk to. This is I have
They're all
only had
dead.
Man
one.
of God.
I've only had one 4-year relationship. That is it.
Damn.
That is it.
You're like the opposite of each other. Like the literal fucking opposite. Bro's got 87 exes, and you've been dating your girl 87 years. It's like
Oh my
the
god.
perfect duo. Y'all
And
can
Josh
ba-
is 95.
We
So
put- yeah. I'm the
Balance
old
each other
man.
out.
I'm the oldest one.
Do you want to hit this next story?
Let's do it where we have
There's
to be
another one?
Oh, yeah. You thought we were
Oh,
done?
My friends named their daughter after my daughter. I'm considering ending our friendship. That's kind of weird.
Stop biting my flow, bro.
Also, we're live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Join our live
Do
in
it.
YouTube right now.
Mhm.
So this is all answering the question, how do you deal with bad friends? This first story comes from Haunting Wing 8451, and they say, I, 35 female, am longtime friends with a married couple, 40 male and 42 female. I've been distant since the pandemic when their daughter was born, and they just confronted me about it an hour ago. I started distancing when the husband started judging me for not making my marriage work. There were extreme reasons I left that I never really broadcast for my children's sake. Some were very public, which I addressed, but the rest I kept quiet. But the most recent issue is that I lost a child when I was 18. She was born alive but survived only a few hours. I chose a name for her that I confided in them that was very special, a play on familial names, but appropriate for a very unexpected and traumatic loss. They used this name for their daughter.
Ooh, better than their dog.
Better than their dog. I would have had no issue with this, but I found out in the Facebook announcement, which brought back some very painful and traumatic memories. I didn't say anything. I don't own the name, but I felt very disrespected that they chose not to even give me a heads up, especially as many in our friend circle know where they got it, and I was put on the spot as far as my reaction. Well, I distanced myself from them. And about an hour ago, I got a message from him that was very angrily worded. Apparently, he had been talking to a mutual friend about me and how I've shown no interest in their daughter. And he mentioned that them using the name without a heads up was very painful for me. And it had put me on the spot because a lot of people had been asking for my reaction. He called me selfish and an a-hole for trying to sully their joy with my pain and making everything about me, and that I should just get over it. She passed away years ago, as in OP's daughter.
Bruh.
In my opinion, losing a child is something you never truly get over. And I was never rude. I never spoke badly of them or to them. I won't talk about it with anyone. I've just chosen to protect myself and remain distant. I wanted them to enjoy their daughter. They struggled with infertility for years, and I am happy for them. It's just painful for me, and I felt very disrespected with how they handled it. So, am I the a-hole? Was I wrong to distance myself in a 20-year friendship over this, or is my reaction reasonable? And some info, they use both the first and middle name down to the spelling. The only difference is the last name. The name was made up, a mix of my mom and grandpa's names, and the middle name was my nickname from them as a child. My mom passed when I was a child, and my grandpa, who raised me after my mom passed 3 months before my daughter did.
Oh.
And there are relevant comments from OP and an update from OP. But what do we think? Is OP the a-hole basically for distancing themselves from their friends for using the name of their dead child without asking? And then also the friend basically saying, get over it.
Yeah, that that was like insanely crazy. That they said that to their friend. Like,
Yeah.
that's not your friend.
Not your friend.
Low key.
Yeah.
This is a different one. This is
Yeah.
we've never seen a scenario like this.
I don't think we've seen a scenario
feel
like
like-
this.
And I also think that it's just like weird. It's especially weird for given the context and how it was like a mashup of two different names. They did the first name and the middle
Like,
name.
why would you? It's so thoughtful on OP's part and so thoughtless on the friend's part. It's like, why would you choose such a specific name?
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, is there really no like? They picked the first name and the middle name. You're
Yeah.
telling me there's literally no other name on planet Earth in the history of names that you can pick that you think would be like more meaningful to you?
Yeah.
It's like a mashup of.
And like, I think that first thing is already kind of pretty weird. It's not like, I don't think it's necessarily like super bad. It's just like a weird choice.
It could be fine because like a normal scenario I could see happening is like, let's say like me and my girlfriend have done this, like someone's name in a TV show where we meet is like
cool,
whatever, and I'm like, oh, that's like a cool name.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, kind of save that in the baby bank.
But like I don't know why they wouldn't just say something, but I'm actually like, in terms of where my a-hole verdict comes from, when I'm saying this couple is the a-hole, really, I think it comes from when they said, get over it. That feels like an order of magnitude more a-hole-ish than just taking the name, which is already pretty weird.
I think because of the specific, here's what I think. If it was just like, even if it was just like a name like Jane, that's not like a combination or like kind of like this like special new cooked up name, it could be potentially okay, but this was so specific, and they knew. I think that they had to have some semblance of an understanding of what that name meant to OP
meant. Yeah.
And also the other thing too is like what were the actual consequences? People kept going to OP and asking about it. So OP has to relive this over and over with all the friends that are asking her about the baby name. And that's something that OP has to deal with, which is completely unfair.
Yeah.
Even
exactly.
if that's not
especially when it brings up trauma.
Exactly. Like even if that wasn't their intention, OP still has to deal with all these people like, oh, I heard like they named the baby after your deceased daughter.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Yeah. It's just like, it's pretty bizarre. All right. I'm going to go straight into the update. So the commenter says you should just get over it. She passed years ago. This person is not your friend. Time to distance yourself permanently, not the a-hole. OP says, I haven't responded to his email. I'm waiting until I'm calmer, but I can't say I plan to be kind. There will definitely be a clear boundary that they are never to contact me again. I wish them well, but they definitely do not continue to have any place in my life. And then another commenter says, OP, my heart goes out to you for what you've been through. Your reaction and feelings are very reasonable. Definitely do not be kind to that person or allow them close anymore. I would even take a screenshot of that email for reference in case anyone in your friend group tries to say you're overreacting. And OP responds, thank you. I forwarded the email to another friend with a clear statement of my boundaries with them going forward and made absolutely sure they're blocked and everything. I also removed myself from any group chats or Facebook groups. We are all in. No one is very happy with them right now. So this commenter is saying OP should be honored.
Yep.
This sounds like some dumb, childish crap. Oh, you took my name. Maybe they didn't hit her up because she's emotionally draining, or just have their lives, or it slipped. She hit him up, tripping out. I tell them to F off as well. OP responds, I'm not entirely sure you read my post. I went radio silent after their name announcement. He's angry because I won't talk to them or about them. I certainly never hit them up tripping out, as you so eloquently put it. He hit me up tripping out.
Boom!
That sounds like when like a principal is like, I am like, it's like, you're tripping, Principal G, and then the principal's like, I am not tripping, Edward. You know, like it sounds like that. That's the vibe I was getting. Principal Edward. I distance myself because even I didn't realize how upsetting just hearing her name would be. Hearing it and being expected to associate with another child, then having to deal with it while people are blowing up my phone, coming to my house, coming to my job, asking me about it. It was a lot on my mental health. After that, it just wasn't worth the drama to bring up or be around them. How in God's name is their conduct an honor for a child they never met, never mourned, and never cared about? I think the main part for me is they don't have to get your blessing to use the name. OP responds, this is another commenter saying, I think the main part for me is they don't have to get your blessing to use the name. OP responds, they didn't need my blessing. My issue is that I wasn't allowed to process hearing my daughter's full name again for the first time since her funeral privately. I had to do it with my phone blowing up to talk about it and people at work asking me about it. Consideration would have been a text or phone call a day or two ahead of time, letting me know they were using the name and letting me process, instead of being shown the post by a coworker. It's not a common name. It was one I made up, combining my mom and grandpa's name, and the middle name was my nickname from them as a child. Both had passed a few months before my daughter. OP was voted not the a-hole even before the update, but there is another update, and it's quick and it's short.
Yeah, I was just gonna quickly say that like OP wasn't even saying like, oh, they couldn't use the name. It was like, hey, if you could have just given me a heads up so I could process. And she was still like basically inferring that she was okay with people hitting her up and kind of bringing up and trudging up the memory, as long as she had some sort of time to process and be prepared to be bombarded with all that.
She just needs time to process. That's literally all she's asking for. But the update, so everyone's over at the house, and I mean everyone. Both my friend groups came over. The friend D I sent a screenshot to last night of the email, called everyone, and they're furious. Her husband M called the former friend A and let him know that everyone is cutting ties with him and that he is to leave me alone. Everyone was under the consensus that while the way they handled the name was an issue, it wasn't a deal breaker since I chose to just remove myself and let it go. However, since he chose to attack me unprovoked simply for keeping a healthy distance, that's unforgivable. This is entirely their own reaction. I did not demand they cut ties with him. However, keep in mind that these are people closest to me. So when I called D last night, I was simply reaching out for support and to calm down because my knee-jerk reaction was to say, if you want to go low, I'll go lower, which is very out of character for me. I made it very clear that I was not continuing any contact with A and his wife, but I was not going to dictate their friendships and love them whether they stay friends with them or not. And that's all to answer. How do you deal with bad friends? Also, we're live right now, so you should check out our lives because they're pretty fun. Go click our profile. But that's where that story ends.
Again, like I think OP was more than reasonable. Honestly, I feel like it would have also been a reasonable request to be like, hey, can you not use the name? Because just like realistically, it's a combined grandpa name, mom
it's
name,
so
combined.
Specific.
It's so
weird.
like different and specific as the first name and the middle name. You are telling me there is not one name in the world that could,
just be more creative. Also, you're giving your child a name that someone else made bespoke for their kid.
Dead relatives and child.
It's giving Fast and Furious 10.
Who would want to be named
Like,
after that?
Make a new series,
10.
guys.
Yeah, come on.
I think a-hole for those guys.
A-hole.
I think OP handled it super well.
My 6-year friendship just fell apart after we moved in together, and I'm out $2,000.
It happens.
It happens.
Sue
man.
him.
A quick summary before we get into the thick of it. I moved in with a good friend. She left in the middle of our lease, guilted me into letting a random girl take over her room despite promises that she'd cover the rent if we didn't find someone I like. That girl trashed the house, and now I'm out $2,000, and the friend is probably in a cult.
Oh.
To start at the beginning, I guess. I, 24 female, got a job in a new city in March 2023. And while I was looking for apartments, the stars aligned. And one of my best friends and former roommates, also 24 female, from college, got a job in the same area. For the purposes of this story, I'll give her a fake name. Megan. Megan asked if I wanted to be roommates, and I was absolutely thrilled. We had been best friends for 6 years. This would be my first time renting a place post-college, and I was so excited to have someone to do that with instead of having to figure it out on my own. I have a lot of social anxiety, and this friend tended to bring me out of my shell and include me in social things as well, so I was excited to live with her again. Because we were roommates in college, I also wasn't worried about it becoming one of those, surprise, your good friend is actually bad to live with situations.
Yeah.
There was some roommate drama when we lived together with 2 other girls in college, but I thought everyone left on good terms, so I wasn't stressed about that aspect. Boy, was I wrong.
Uh-oh.
We found a house and signed a lease for a 2-bedroom starting in July. Her job started in August, and I had been staying with family nearby until this point. Living together started out a little awkward, but I chalked it up to the fact that we hadn't really hung out in person for about a year, and also that in interactions with people, I almost always leave feeling awkward about things I said/did anyway. So it wasn't that abnormal a feeling for me. The strangeness started to evolve pretty quickly, though. The following tangents might sound a little off topic from the bad roommate situation, but it all comes back together, I promise.
Ooh.
promise.
Tangent number 1, the boyfriend. Megan moved in pretty immediately after a week-long trip to visit her sister in another state. The sister had introduced her to this guy who went to their church. And Megan came back from that trip basically ready to marry him and have children. I understand being infatuated with someone quickly, and Megan had a tendency to make big, impulsive decisions sometimes. So I just tried to be happy for her and supportive, even though in my head I was like, weird. Pretty quickly, it seemed like her relationship with him got incredibly intense. Almost any time I was home, she'd be in her room on FaceTime with him. Every conversation was about him. She constantly talked about missing him so much, no matter how recently they'd see each other. One time, the two of us went thrift shopping together, and we separated to look at separate sections. And when we came back together, she was on the phone with him already. That's just one example, but that was the vibe. He was just constantly present, whether literally on the phone or in conversation.
If you like him so much, why don't you just
marry
marry him?
I think that is her plan. I maybe should have given my opinion at this point that it felt like she was rushing into things a little bit, and I wanted her to be careful. But I didn't. I was a tiny bit hurt because I would have preferred to hang out more, but I wanted to be supportive, and I figured she was just excited about the potential of this new relationship, so I just focused on my job. I'm a drama teacher, actually so is Megan, and I often stay after school for long amounts of time to work on shows. I was pretty exhausted most of the time anyway, so we just existed in the same space. I would normally come home, she'd be on the phone, I'd eat and watch a TV episode, then go lay down. Oops, I did it again.
Okay,
Brittany.
Should be able to switch.
I did it
Nice.
again.
That was a good one.
Thank you. I'm just from the 90s or early 2000s. Sorry.
Then some red flags from the boyfriend started to become apparent to me. At this point, maybe a month into the relationship, she seemed dead set on marrying this guy, so I was afraid to speak up about anything he said. I told myself if there was anything undeniable that he brought up, then I would voice my concerns to her. I now believe that even if I had said something about him in the beginning, it would not have been received well by Megan and might have even made this whole mess worse in the long run. She probably, if she was that, attached to him, she probably wouldn't have listened to OP.
Yeah, do you think is it worth like, hey, here's my honest opinions on it, or is it just like, leave it?
I think if she ever brings him up, which we know that she does, you can just be like, hey, seems like we're, I don't want you to get hurt. Just be careful.
Be like, shut the F up.
Don't
About
talk to
Todd.
me. Don't talk to him at all, ever.
I don't care.
Anyway, here are some examples of things I noticed. One time he came to visit and I was in the other room. I overheard them talking about my Dungeons and Dragons stuff that I had left on the TV cabinet. He asked about it and she said it was mine and that she never got involved with that stuff. Both of them implying that it was weird/nerdy.
I love D&D.
Get out.
Get out.
Get out.
Leave.
I don't want you here. You're
Roll D20.
boring. You're freaking boring.
Yeah.
I didn't like this because Megan had played D&D with me and our other friends before and had enjoyed it. I was hurt at the same time because it seemed like she was minimizing my nerdy interests to seem cool to this new boyfriend when before this, she had been not only chill with me being a nerd, but was also interested in those things herself. Anyone who thinks nerdy things are like bad, like, are you stuck in the 2000s?
Dude, it's like anyone who is like trying to like act cool around like a partner, someone they're dating in their adult years is absolutely
So
freaking
uncool.
whack.
If anyone, if I'm talking to anyone and I'm like, oh my God, I love D&D, and they're like, isn't that for nerds? I'm like,
Damn straight it is.
are you a
Bye-bye.
freaking
Yeah.
boring loser?
Oh,
Because you need to get a life and stop trying to please people around you.
I'm gonna get my goblins to get you out of here.
Yeah,
That's
you're
right.
done. You're done.
Yeah, I know about Dungeons and Dragons. That's right.
We should do a D&D session.
We've been trying to, but we don't have a freaking DM.
Hi.
Perfect.
Uh-oh.
I've been desperate for a D&D session.
We can just co-DM.
I love that. Now, looking back, I feel like they were implying it was bad because D&D is anti-religious. But we'll get into that in the next tangent.
Do you not know about that, John?
No.
Oh, back when it first came out, like the church was out for D&D.
Well,
like,
yeah.
But was
because
it like
they're-
the church was out, or was it like, you know
Well,
what
it's
I'm
kind of like in the
Yeah.
Stranger Things with Eddie. It's like, oh, this is like
Yeah,
devil
me.
worship,
demonic? Right.
demonic, etc. It's like why the church is anti-Ouija boards. It's all of
Like Harry
anything that's
Potter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like no, I have a family member who's like, I would never read anything with witches in it.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I've had family members that are like reading Harry Potter?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Because
yeah, I am. 'Cause I'm a
Expecto
freaking
Patronum.
wizard. Huh?
Expecto Patronum.
Yeah, that won't do
So
much
you're
to him.
sucking out the joy in my life.
So you would know that if you're a real nerd.
I just made a really good thing. I'm
Yeah.
going to say it again. Because you're sucking the joy out of my life.
Ooh.
Expecto Patronum.
Oh.
Dementor.
Nice.
She also stopped watching TV because of him.
Huh?
I came home one day and she was
Trolling?
watching one of her favorite shows. I said something like, "Oh, awesome. Time for her favorite show rewatch." And she told me she and boyfriend had decided to stop watching television, so she was watching it for the last time ever.
Okay. All right.
If she had decided on her own to not watch TV anymore, that'd be whatever. But it seemed more like boyfriend's decision to me, especially because if she really had wanted to stop watching TV full stop, why would she rewatch her favorite show? Just watch the show when you feel like it if it brings you joy. I don't know, that just really rubbed me the wrong way. She also completely changed her diet, but I think that was more of an influence of her sister. Megan was previously a vegan and tends to change up her diet in that kind of way. But she started eating a piece of raw liver every morning and drinking raw milk. That's unhealthy. Don't do that.
That's not good for you.
That's not
Stop.
good for like unpasteurized milk.
Oh, there's a lot of people that do that though. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying like there's
Yeah,
like
that's
a community of people that like to do that.
Yeah, interesting. Anyway, going back to the boyfriend, anytime he visited and we had conversations, he just came off as very judgmental and holier than thou. And it seemed like he was always telling her what to do. All of that to say, I really didn't like Megan's boyfriend. Yeah, he's
Yeah, this dude is like, look, it's one thing to like,
It's one
oh
thing
yeah,
to
I don't
insult
watch TV
TNT.
or whatever. Yeah, exactly. That's really where the line is
That's
drawn.
the line has been drawn.
Yeah. But like, I think it's like, look, he can not watch TV. He can eat whatever he wants. It seems, I mean, she keeps changing all these things about her. I have to believe that he's pressuring her, influencing her to do that stuff. And that is just so not okay.
Yeah.
You know?
No, absolutely. I mean, if she wants to, why are you stopping watching TV?
Or
He's
best
not
case,
even going to know.
the best case scenario here is that he's doing all these things and she's just doing it of her own volition to impress him, but it's not her.
No,
And
it's not you. I think there is a certain, and there is another tangent, but before we get into that, I think there is a certain level of kind of adopting traits and habits of your partner that's totally fine. Like
Yeah,
if
it
your
happens.
partner has interests and you're like, oh, try them out, that's totally cool. But don't give up don't give up yourself for your partner. It should be kind of you're growing together.
Yeah. Ooh, I
Yeah,
like
they
that.
should support your interests, unless if they're
Yeah.
like really bad. But like D&D and like watching TV.
Yeah, it's not like you're making him watch TV or,
Yeah,
do D&D together.
the fact that he's changing every little aspect of your life and just changing your entire self is a major red flag.
Tangent number 2, converting religions.
Uh-oh.
When we moved in together, Megan started going to this new church, a Greek Orthodox church that her sister had attended when she used to live in our town. This didn't raise any warning flags for me at first. Megan and I are both religious, so I figured it was just a different style of Christianity. I grew up non-denominational and still considered myself a Christian, but didn't go to church because I live in the South, and it's tough to find a church that isn't very conservative. She's always been more of a churchgoer than me, so her attending this church wasn't strange to me at all, until I met her church friends. One day, she invited me to go to lunch with a young adult group from the church. I said yes, because I thought it'd be a good opportunity to make friends, which is hard for me. There were 6 other people there besides Megan and I, 2 married couples, a guy whose wife wasn't there, and a single guy. Married couples aren't usually in my social circle, but I'm aware of the ingrained Southern expectation to get married young. So although it was a little foreign to my personal experience because I was expecting more of a college student vibe, it didn't bother me. I just wasn't expecting it. I still tried to join in the conversations until they veered into a very uncomfortable territory. Pretty soon after we got there, they all started talking about relationships, and they were asking the single guy about when he would find a girlfriend / get married, what he was looking for, etc. The 2 married women were really intensely asking him what he was looking for in a wife, and they seemed to want to set him up. He was being somewhat dodgy about what his requirements were, but eventually they got it out of him that he wanted a traditional wife who would stay home, have children, and be subservient.
And eat liver.
And eat liver.
Ugh.
And not watch TV.
Ugh.
I was
Watching TV's
shocked by
crazy.
this, but the other girls basically went, oh, well, that's okay. We'll find you a good trad wife. Plenty of women want to serve their husbands like that. They kept using the term trad wife in a positive way and were sure they would find the perfect wife for him.
And this is wait. This is a
Yes.
friend.
So
this
OP
is
is
her
at-
other female
Yes.
church friends, women
OP
church
is
friends.
at Megan's church, like youth group kind of vibe.
Right.
Which I think that I don't know. I think I feel like I'm at that age where most of my parties are like people my age and,
Yeah.
you know, who are not really thinking about that. But then I've started to be invited to these parties where
Mhm.
people are older and married and have kids. I'm like,
Disease.
no,
Stay away.
this is not me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't relate to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a weird vibe is what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's not. It's. I won. Yeah. The friend. I really quickly.
Yeah.
Two things. One, do you think now, because it seems like the friend is just going deeper and deeper, and this is your friend, right? Like, do you now at this point say something
Say
now that
something.
we've dove in deeper? And two, speaking of lunch,
Keep
Do you
speaking,
want any?
John. Yeah.
Yeah, there it
I
is.
do.
That's what I was
I'm
trying to
so
get to.
hungry.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So I will answer my own question. Great question, John. Thanks for asking. You're welcome, John.
You're such a good person, John. I want to be you, John.
Thank you, John.
Oh, John. No, you shouldn't have, John.
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 But yes, to answer my own question, the real question, I feel like this is so tough because, like, while this is your friend, while it does seem like she's like going down this path, it's also one of those scenarios of it's like, hey, at the end of the day, you can't control and shouldn't try to control what your friend is doing. You know, you could maybe very respectfully say your piece if you think it's going down a, bad rabbit hole for her. I don't know if we're at that point yet, but it seems like we could be approaching the precipice, the tipping point of where one might need to say that.
I think you could bring it up now and say, hey, like, it doesn't seem like these people are really your crowd. Like, I don't want you to feel like you have to change yourself to fit in with people because you're perfect the way that you were.
Yeah.
I stayed silent for the rest of the lunch. Yummy. Until Megan was ready to leave.
Megan!
Liver.
She had driven us both there. I was also shocked by the fact that Megan, someone who I previously knew as an incredibly ambitious and independent woman who actively pushes against the idea that a man should be the dominant provider in the household, hadn't said anything about the conversation. Megan also had never been scared to express her opinion or argue with people. So I didn't say anything to her because it dawned on me at this time that it seemed like Megan's views might have been changing to align with that if she wasn't arguing against it, which I think is true. And at that point, it's just like, okay, maybe we're just not friends anymore.
Totally.
It soon became clear to me that this was true. My best friend is non-binary and uses they/them pronouns. And whenever they came to visit, it seemed like Megan was actively avoiding opportunities to hang out with us. All three of us were close friends in college, although I was closer to both of them than they were to each other. I soon realized after talking to some of our mutual friends that Megan had been avoiding my best friend because she no longer agreed with their identity. And at that point, Megan's just not your friend anymore.
Dude. Get Megan out of here.
If they're
Yeah.
being awful about your friend being non-binary, do you really want to be Megan's friend?
Megan needs to be
Megan. Yes. Okay, this may sound crazy, but that was all basically just backstory.
That is crazy.
That's freaking crazy. This is when stuff gets worse.
Oh.
What?
No.
Oh, we just got the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, we
guys.
haven't even started.
This is just
No.
Megan.
We haven't even started the story yet. I don't know.
In December of that same year, just 5 months after we moved in together, she told me she was planning on quitting her job and moving to the state her boyfriend lives in. This is like when you're watching a movie and they have like that, back in the past moment,
Yeah.
but it's like an hour long. And then they start the actual movie.
And then we cut to the
Yeah.
and
it's
present
like
day.
20 years later,
Yeah.
and you're like, wait, that wasn't the real movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what just happened.
I've never
Once
seen
upon a
these
time.
movies.
What? You know,
Sounds
like
great.
when you're watching a movie and they have like the
For an hour?
No,
It's
I'm
like-
joking.
Oh.
I'm
It's like
saying
30
usually
minutes.
it's like a 5-minute
Right.
like, oh, this is the backstory stuff, but in this case it would be an hour.
See, I've seen so little movies. I was like,
Don't even-
Sophia's telling me there's movies with an
No.
hour of backstory.
No.
That it must be. It's just a
I'm saying,
5-hour
like,
movie.
if this were that movie, that it would matter.
It would be
I
an hour.
understood
It
it.
doesn't
John.
matter. Yeah.
I don't watch enough movies to
You don't
get
understand my not even a joke. It's whatever.
It's just like an actual
It's
thing.
just- it's just
I'll watch more movies. I swear.
She told me, you know what John's doing? He's
What?
he's eating raw liver and not watching TV.
No, yeah, you're not watching TV.
I'm the trad wife.
She told me she was planning on quitting her job and moving to the state her boyfriend lives in. I was shocked. We were teachers. This was halfway through the school year, and if you break your teaching contract, you almost always have it noted on your teaching certificate so future schools know. She had always seemed focused, ambitious, and reliable to me, so the fact that she was considering quitting in the middle of the year seemed extremely out of character to me. Teaching can be a thankless job sometimes, and we both dealt with intense amounts of stress due to classroom behaviors, school climate, and long hours. So I absolutely understand the need to quit that job. However, I thought it was a bad decision to impact the future possibility of being hired at another school. We both have degrees in education, like this was the plan for her. So I was worried that she didn't seem to have a replacement plan before quitting a very secure and consistent job. Well, it seems like her plan is to be kind of a, have her boyfriend provide for her.
That does
I think that
seem to
seems
be the
like
plan.
maybe that's the plan.
How many livers do you gotta eat to be able to provide
To provide
for your
a lot of
trad
livers.
Sorry, is Megan getting like brainwashed? It seems like she's like
Dude.
completely
Well,
brainwashed.
absolutely.
wife? That's definitely.
But
what
like,
it
are they
seems
doing like an actual like brainwashing on her? Because it seems like 5 months ago, Megan was cool.
I
Like,
don't think brainwashing is necessarily as obvious sometimes. I think it's you get into a relationship, you start hanging out with different people. They start telling you, oh, no, you should do this. You should do this. Like, your life would be so much better if you did it this way. And then you, to fit in, start changing aspects of yourself to the point until you actually believe that's what you believe.
Yeah, I think it's unclear as of right now is if it's that, like her just like changing herself to like match the boyfriend and
Yeah.
please him, or is the boyfriend like pushing her to try to become this person that
Yeah.
she's not. That's because we haven't really heard much from the boyfriend. So that's the only thing I'm not sure about, but she's changing.
She's changing.
That's for sure.
Moving to the other state, though, I thought that was absolutely crazy. She's known this man for 5 to 6 months, and she was quitting her job and moving for him. Even though I was thinking all of this, I still didn't say anything negative to her. Now, I wish I had expressed my opinions, but I can't change the past. And then she dropped this bomb on me. This wasn't a I'm moving after our lease is up announcement. This was an I'm moving next month in the middle of our lease announcement. Not good. I started crying and freaking out a little bit. I cry at everything. This was not an attempt to make her feel guilty. She swore to me that because it was a decision that she felt she needed to make for herself, that I shouldn't have to worry about it at all. She's like, no, you don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about me breaking the lease. It's like you shouldn't worry about
Just
it.
don't stress. Like it's not like I'm, leaving you here and you have to
pay
cover
for
the
the rest
rent
of
and
the
like
lease.
yeah, just stop worrying about that. Just like
worry.
let me make my decisions and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how it affects you.
I can see that you're crying, and I think you should just not.
Yeah, maybe you could just like
Have we thought about that?
Maybe just take those tears falling. Maybe you could just like
Suck them up.
just push them
Push 'em
back into your eye holes.
And then you won't have a problem.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop.
She promised that I would not be left responsible for our full rent. We split it 50-50. And that while she wanted to look for a different person to take over her room, she wanted me to have full approval over anyone we found. And if we didn't find someone that I wanted to live with, she would continue paying her half of the rent, even though she wasn't living there through the end of the lease. That's good.
Yeah.
So stupidly, I agreed to this situation. I feel like that's a fair situation.
I was gonna say like she's not fully cuckoo. She
Yeah.
sounds like okay, she's got reasoning and she's gonna help you out.
Well,
Until
Well.
stupidly.
does she live up to those big lofty words?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Megan also had a cat that lived with us. She is the chillest, sweetest cat in the world. When she announced that she was moving, Megan told me that the place she found doesn't allow animals, so she has to leave the cat behind.
She's even giving up her pet for
Her
this guy.
pet? Come
Dude.
on.
I'm definitely
Come
gonna guess that
on.
he's trying to shape her and force her into this
Mhm.
trad wife thing.
Absolutely. She asked if I wanted the cat, and I said absolutely. The cat comes back later. I felt like the only two things to say were either, okay, I'm okay with you moving as long as I don't get stuck with a rando roommate or 100% of the rent. Or, no, you're not moving and we're going to live together and you'll hate me until July. She was my best friend in college. I trusted her word that she would make sure we found a roommate I was comfortable with, or she would keep paying her rent. That is not what happened. We both went to visit our families over winter break. When I came back, she was prepared to move out, and about a week later in January, she moved. She hadn't found anyone to fill the room before she left, but was continuing to post online in various Facebook groups and websites searching for roommates. I did not participate in the roommate searching process. This is where I might have been in the wrong, but I felt like she's the one who left in the middle of our lease. She was no longer dealing with our extremely stressful jobs, and I had my half of the rent ready to be covered, so I didn't post anything or try to find a new roommate. The only thing, I don't think it is OP's responsibility, but I think you have to be a little bit involved just so you get the roommate that you want.
Yeah, maybe it's like
She gives you options and you look through them.
yeah, like, hey, you do the work,
Yeah.
you know, like post in the right places, but I have like ultimate approval of the person because I need to be living with
Yeah.
this person who's going to be in there.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah.
I think that, I mean, like I've been in that situation where we had to get a subletter and stuff, and the person who was responsible for the rent found, did all of that stuff,
Yeah.
and then we jumped on a call so that we could all talk to that person and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, which I think is just the best way to do
What
it.
you got to do.
I really hate the idea of living with someone I don't know. It gives me crazy amount of anxiety. I was willing to try it if Megan found someone because I understood that it'd be bad for Megan to have to continue paying rent for 7 months in an apartment she wasn't living in. But I still couldn't make myself participate in the search. Megan would have conversations with potential roommates and they would come tour the house. I never met anyone who toured because they almost always came with the property manager during the day while I was at work. If they had been interested, our next step would have been for us to meet and for me to decide if I was willing to basically re-sign the lease with them. Eventually, Megan told me about this couple that wanted to move into the room. I said no immediately.
No.
I wasn't comfortable living with a couple because of a plethora of reasons. One, new person was already going to be hard for me. 2 seemed impossible. I also wouldn't even want to live with a couple that I was already best friends with because we share a wall. That's a weird third wheel dynamic, etc. So I said no without meeting up with them. I think this is when Megan got mad. She thought it was rude of me to not even talk to this couple and see if I liked them. I was extremely busy with working on our big musical and was staying after school until 8 p.m. most nights and thought it would be a huge waste of time to meet up with these people when I know nothing they say would change my mind about not wanting to live with a couple. They could be the nicest people in the world, we could become besties, and I still wouldn't want to live with 2 other people in a 2-bedroom house. Near the end of January, Megan texted me a message saying that she thought it might be a good idea for both of us to terminate the lease early. I had, up to that point, the worst panic attack of my life.
Oh, no.
She said she couldn't afford paying rent in 2 states at once when we haven't been able to find anyone serious about taking over her room. I freaked out about this for a while because where did she expect me to live? Did she want me to move in the middle of a tech week for a musical? I thought this was insanely inconsiderate. I then called my dad and we read over the lease together. It turned out that she had read the lease wrong. If we broke the lease, we would still be responsible for the rent for the months of February through July.
Whoa.
And would also have to pay an extra fee of $2,000 for breaking it.
Whoa. So basically,
You can't break it.
yeah, you still
paying
pay for all of the rent and a $2,000 like fine.
So there's literally no reason to break it.
There's bro, a
Yeah.
terrible lease. Terrible lease agreement.
I have like Megan, but I do think that OP needs to be a little bit involved in this process of finding a new person.
Yeah, again, it's like
Yeah.
understand the spirit of like, hey, you're the one doing this, so you should be the one
Yeah.
handling it. But again, OP should be just in viewing it,
You've got to
overseeing
be
it.
a little bit, especially
yeah.
if you have really specific needs and desires for a roommate.
Yeah.
Then go ask your friend. Say, hey, do we know anyone who's looking for a roommate or something?
Yeah.
So it just speeds it up. Yes, it is Megan's responsibility, but I think if you want a person that you like to live with you, then you gotta get in there.
One thing I would suggest to her is like, hey, look, you don't want to be on the hook for the whole amount of rent. What if like we either found someone who is like, that I like that was willing to cover like, more of the lease, or you get someone again that we like, but like you just pay like a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's like, cause it's like, hey, listen, you kind of got to deal with the consequences of your actions.
Yeah.
You're leaving this early. You're kind of leaving me hung out to dry.
Sure.
So like just do like a small portion of what you would have been paying. That way, like I have to pay less. It helps us get like, she could maybe even subsidize someone who's like a better fit.
Yeah.
Like there's, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
One
she could
idea.
get the money. I mean, yeah. This is, I don't know. I think there's a little bit of mistakes going on both ends here.
Yeah.
Especially this lease
Mhm.
agreement.
Dude.
Why are you finding out about this
Now,
this
didn't you read the
far?
lease?
Not
Yeah,
at the
that's-
beginning.
That's definitely seems like it.
Yeah.
Neither of them did probably.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like it. Because, I mean, OP's like, oh, she didn't read the lease. Doesn't seem like you
Right.
did
Yeah,
either.
so I did, like, yeah.
I sent her that information and she admitted that she had read it wrong, but then got mad at me for not helping in the search for a new roommate. I kind of agree with. She called me immature for not responding to messages quickly and for not sharing her roommate search posts on Facebook, etc. Admittedly, I am really bad at replying to messages, but this was also an extremely busy time in my life. On top of my full-time teaching job, I was also directing the after-school musical, and we were in the crazy midst of that process. Crazy busy, basically just coming home to sleep and doing it all over again the next day. On January 25th, Megan sent me a message at 10:30 a.m. telling me about a girl. For this story, I'll call her Lucy, that she had found to take over the room, telling me a bit about her. At 10:32, she said, please respond as soon as you can so I can update Lucy. At 10:34, she sent me another text saying this should be the last roommate call I'd have to do and that she's sorry it taken me so long. I was teaching classes. I did not read it nor respond. I was in class. At 4:21 p.m., Megan sent me a text asking if I had seen it. I was in rehearsal. I did not read it or respond. Again, you had to have been able to check your phone.
Yeah.
Like, you get lunch breaks. You're telling me you don't look at your phone?
Yeah. Also, I want to say
I don't
earlier,
know.
I think while it would have been better for her to been involved in the process, I'm not necessarily like giving a strike against her, other than it's like just not in her own self-interest.
Yes, that's the thing. I think she's doing things that aren't in her own self-interest.
Right. Yeah. It's like, hey, help
Megan
yourself.
is the problem, but
Yeah.
you're making so many more problems for yourself.
Yeah.
What's more
Fair.
important here, the school musical or your living situation?
You're literally like your living situation that you said, like you could, I don't know.
That's causing you a panic attack.
Like my director in high school and middle school, sometimes they had to take a day off and there was always an assistant. So, do you have an assistant that could maybe take over for an hour while you sorted this out?
Do you think an assistant can make the greatest show on earth?
I guess
Do you
not.
really think that?
No, OP needs to have complete control of
Yeah,
the show.
that's right.
Yeah, I think OP's being a little silly.
Yeah. Little silliness.
At
I agree.
6:56, Megan tried to call me and I didn't answer. I was in rehearsal. She texted me again, asking about moving forward with this new roommate and wanted to make a group chat with the three of us to figure it out. 8:33 p.m., we were wrapping up rehearsal and she sent me another message asking again if I wanted to move forward with her as a tenant, asking me to please respond and saying the longer we make her wait, the higher chance she might find someone else. I really need you to start responding to me so I can follow up with her. She then said it's not fair for you to assume I'm going to pay half the rent when I'm finding food options for tenants. She has my full approval. We just need yours. I went through all of these messages after rehearsal, way more than what I retyped here. For the most part, I was majorly summarizing. And I may have been in the wrong for this, but I was a little petty and didn't respond right away.
Dude.
OP, stop!
Dude, this is not the time to be
Stop!
petty.
Oh my god, this is for you!
Be petty when it
You said
isn't
you had
against
a
your best.
panic attack about having to pay for the rent. She's trying to get a roommate for you.
But now I'm
You're a
getting
little
back.
bit the a-hole.
But I'm getting back.
Honestly, I'm a little bit OP's the a-hole here.
Really?
I mean, Megan is still the a-hole for sure, but OP's a little bit the a-hole here.
I will say, and also in defense of Megan here,
Yeah.
Megan is
Megan's trying.
pretty on top of it.
Yes, Megan
Pretty-
gave a month in advance, which
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, it is pretty quick, and it sucks when people break leases.
Yeah.
But it's not like a week in advance.
I think she's doing a lot considering the circumstances.
Yes, I agree.
Which,
Yeah.
yeah.
Megan doesn't even have to help. Like, I mean, yeah, she does, but at the end of the day, Megan is like, I'm gone.
Megan's
Whatever,
gone.
break the lease.
Yeah.
If I have to pay it, I mean, I don't know if she knows
I
what the
mean,
2000
yeah,
thing.
like-
Like Megan sucks for other reasons.
yeah.
Like not liking her non-binary friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Megan's
But but in this specific case, she's trying
She's
to sort
actually like
things
pretty
out.
on top
Yeah.
of it. And like the deeper in this process it goes, it's like the more Megan is like trying to like really say like, yo, hey, let's do this,
Yeah.
let's make this happen.
'Cause
Like,
it isn't fair for her to pay for half the lease when she's not living there.
yeah. But I mean, she did like
She owes it.
Even contract
Yeah.
aside, I'm like, it's like you guys and look, at the end of the day, you shouldn't not do what you want with your life because you had this, understanding with your friend to live in an apartment. Like,
Yeah.
do what you want with your life.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, that doesn't mean you don't have the responsibility of that understanding and agreement you had with that person.
Slyly Tove says Megan's more, but OP too. I think I'm on that train. I think I'm
Me
on the
too.
everyone's here.
OP kind of
Yeah.
Everyone here is being just a little goofy.
Little goofy. Hey.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why he's here.
That's
why I was on
we
board,
hired him.
guys.
Give him the big bucks.
I found the part where she said it wasn't fair of me to assume she would continue to pay her rent. Rude. It's like, like that. She had actually specifically promised that she would continue to do it if she didn't find someone. Yes, but she's trying to find someone and you're rejecting everyone. I also want to point out that I never respond to messages right away, especially during the day while I'm at work. And she knows this about me, so I was surprised by the barrage of messages, making it seem like I had not responded to this for days. An hour later at 9:43 p.m., I got these texts. Girl, I need to give her an answer. Let's do a group call tomorrow. If we don't act fast, she'll find somewhere else. She's nice and normal. Just tell me you read all this and I'll make a group chat. Damn, OP, you're really making it hard for me to root for you. Megan continues, there's literally thousands of dollars on the line. I really need you to respond in a timely manner so we can move forward from all of this. I am doing my part by finding and vetting potential tenants. You said you wanted final say on anyone who might live there. I'm trying to give that to you, but you aren't being very cooperative. Lucy is a great choice. Let's have a call with her tomorrow and get her on the lease. I cannot be responsible for unpaid rent because of your negligence in communicating. When are you free to have a group call with Lucy? I was flabbergasted. So annoyed. I felt almost blindsided by the blame being heaped on me.
Oh my goodness.
It hadn't even been a full day and she was texting like I'd been ignoring her for months. Girl, you have. You have been. I also felt disrespected because when she decided to leave in the first place, she promised to not only let me approve any potential roommate, but also that I wouldn't have to worry about her half of the rent if we didn't find anyone suitable. I started worrying. I felt like she had decided for me that this girl was suitable, and now I no longer had a say. I wanted to reiterate that all of those texts were sent over the course of just one day. I responded the next morning.
This is priority number one.
Oh my God. Oh my God, you're frustrating. As soon as I got to work, basically saying that I was busy and she knew that. I told her I'd call the girl and that I expected her to continue paying the rent even if this girl didn't work out. She ignored the part about me expecting her to pay the rent. She then berated me for not responding in a timely manner and being immature about the situation. You were.
Yeah.
You were immature.
She literally admitted to being petty and intentionally not
Yes.
responding.
Like it's so different if you're like, oh, I literally have like my phone. I lost my phone, or I haven't touched my phone. You saw the messages and decided that even though you were stressed and worried about this situation and paying all the money, that you were going to be petty? Come on. I messaged her about the girl in the group. I called the girl, but stopped responding individually to Megan. I didn't really vibe with Lucy, but at this point, I was so sick with stress that I just didn't want to deal with Megan and the chance that she wouldn't pay her rent anymore, so I agreed that Lucy could move in. We got the ball rolling on the new lease process, and after that, Megan sent me another text because I hadn't updated her yet. I have done all I can do. If you like Lucy, great. Please let her know that. If you decide you don't want her moving in, I will take that as you assuming responsibility for my room and rent. I found you a nice, normal, responsible girl. If this does not work out, you need to take ownership for that. If we take too long to let her know, she will find somewhere else. And by we, I mean you. You need to do the responsible thing and update me and Lucy. With that being said, if you decide for whatever reason you don't want to live with her, you are more than welcome to find a tenant on your own and cover the full rent in the meantime. We need to tell her tonight that we would love her to live there. If not, you are increasing the risk that she backs out. She also sent me a 3.5-minute long voice message calling me irresponsible once again and telling me to message Lucy. I had already messaged Lucy at this point. I also forgot to mention earlier, but Megan had also listed her room at a lower price than it actually was, which that's an a-hole move.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
OP cannot pay more rent for her
Than what was agreed upon.
dipping on her, yeah.
When she was trying to get someone to take it. When Lucy reached out, the listing was $700. So Megan said she'd pay the remaining $300 each month. Okay.
Which, that's what I suggested earlier.
Yeah.
Which, if she actually does that, that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Lucy and I re-signed the lease, and I thought most of my troubles were over. I was stressed about living with someone I didn't know, but at least I knew I just had to endure until July. Then I'd move somewhere cheaper on my own. In April, Megan messaged me asking if she could stop sending her $300 rent payments. No.
Dude.
No.
Absolutely not.
No. Basically, her proposal was that because we both paid $1,000 towards the security deposit, if she sent me just $200 in April and stopped paying her $300 after that, then I could just keep her half of the security deposit when we got it back.
You don't know if
You don't
like,
know
one,
you're going to get back.
Probably not getting all of it back, and two,
No.
you might get none of it back or not enough.
Yeah.
Dude.
No.
Stop.
And also, she could just have that. If you did get it back, then she can have that money back. that, Megan can have her half of the deposit. So it's
exactly.
like, why are we? No, let's not.
No.
I was going to say no to this because I didn't want to be on the hook for an extra $300 a month up until we got the deposit back. But the next morning she messaged again saying that because I hadn't texted back yet, I just took that as you are okay with what I said. Both these people.
Yeah.
If for some reason you have an issue with covering the extra rent, but then keeping the full deposit, you'll have to work it out with Lucy how you want to proceed with that, because I've sent you everything I owe you now. I hope everything is going well with you and Lucy and school and everything. I'm really sorry this all happened as it did. I really wish the best for you. I truly believe God uses every situation to teach us to grow, so I hope we both learn from this moving forward in adulthood and life.
She brought in the big G in this.
I would not want to live with either of these people. I knew she wouldn't really hear anything I had to say at this point, so I didn't respond. I made peace with the fact that I lost my best friend because she seems so unlike the person I knew, and that I'd be paying $300 extra a month so that I wouldn't have to deal with Megan anymore. I should also say, technically, I didn't owe Megan her half of the security deposit. She forfeited her right to that money legally when we took her off the lease and reassigned it with Lucy. I was still going to send it to her because, that's $1,000. And now on to the new roommate. The day she moved in, I was cleaning at the house of my grandmother who passed away, so I wasn't there for almost the whole time she moved her stuff in. When I got back with my dad to help me carry in the cabinet I brought home from her house, Lucy was on the way out. I greeted her and it was very awkward. She seemed like she didn't want to chat, and she left. I tried a couple more times throughout the first couple weeks to say hi if she walked through the living room or whatever, but for the most part, she stayed in her room and I was almost always at work. This was going to work fine for me. It would be awkward for 6 months until we moved out, but we could just exist separately in the house. I stopped trying to chat, but would still say hi or nod or smile if we crossed paths. From my perspective, I don't think she ever tried to initiate a get to know you or friendly convo.
I would hate that. I don't know.
I know people who do like this situation. I could not. I need to be like besties with my roommates.
Yeah, it's just, I hate it.
It's just I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
But maybe this works for OP.
Maybe.
A little while after she moved in, I came home one day and the house reeked of weed. I was in denial, hoping it was a skunk or something, but then it became so consistent, and I started seeing her go outside all the time and realized that she was smoking in the house.
Oh, it was a skunk.
It was some type of skunk. I have nothing against morally. However, I personally hate the smell and it gives me a headache. I feel you, girl. Same. I am very afraid of confrontation working on it, so I never mentioned anything to her and just suffered through it. Girl, just say, hey, do you mind smoking outside?
No.
Any sort of
Now I'm going to
communication?
do it right in your face.
I would see her
Imagine
going
just
outside to smoke, so I don't know if she was smoking in the house when I was gone or if it was just that strong somehow. But my friends who are more familiar with weed told me that they've never been in a house that smells so consistently and strongly of it. Even when people are legit stoners, they know how to manage the smell. Yeah, I have a lot of friends who like to smoke it, and when I was living with them, I was just like, very few times that it was ever in the house, I was like, hey, do you mind doing that outside? It was so easy.
Yeah.
OP just doesn't do communication.
This is true.
I'm finding out throughout this story, OP just literally cannot do communication.
This is, yes. Correct.
Tyler says OP just avoids everything but work.
True.
Yeah.
That's how she speaks. She speaks through her art.
She speaks through her performance.
Her performance.
Ay, ay, ay. This drove me crazy, but I didn't say anything. But I didn't passive aggressively do anything about it either. Okay. He's like, I wasn't passive aggressive.
I didn't move her weed jar in different places, just enough to where she thinks she moved it, but not so much that.
You have two options. Either
to me.
you should have said when you were meeting Lucy, hey, what's your take on smoking? What's your vibe on that? Those are like intro conversations when you're moving in with roommates, I feel like. I had all those conversations with like the people that I live with. And then the other thing that you could have done is when you started living with her and noticing this, just say, hey, don't do that. And OP's done none of that.
Or we could
Complain about it in
all
silence.
of her skunk, sell it,
Yeah.
take the money,
Yeah.
sue her for, I don't know,
Sewer.
for why not?
Yeah. I was still basically only coming home to sleep, so I would light a candle in my room when I ate food, then had a lavender scented sleep mask when I went to bed. Pretty soon after, she started doing things that I thought were just a little kooky. And now I think they were passive aggressive messages that I just didn't pick up on. She moved some of my food out of one of the shelves in the pantry and put it in my Tupperware drawer. I noticed when I went to grab a Pop-Tart on my way out the door, but didn't think about it too hard because I was in a rush, and I'm not picky about where my stuff is in the kitchen. Then I came home one day and the side table with my record player on it that had been sitting in the living room was moved in front of my bedroom door. I figured maybe she had vacuumed or something and moved it, so I scooched it to beside my door instead of moving it back into the living room, just in case she wasn't done cleaning or something and was going to put it back. I don't know, but she never moved it, and it stayed outside my door until I moved out. Despite awkwardness and some more strange occurrences like that, I was feeling better just because at least I didn't have to worry about Megan anymore. Then things got even worse. One Saturday, I slept in really late and got out of bed around 1 p.m. I wandered out to the kitchen to get some food and saw that the back door was wide open. I freaked out because my cat, the cat that Megan, the former roommate, had left behind, was nowhere to be found inside the house. The cat. That is not good.
Oh.
She must have gone outside. She's not an outdoor cat, and we live on a fairly busy road and just 1 block over from an extremely busy road. I didn't see her in the backyard, so I went back inside to ask Lucy how long the door had been open, if she saw the cat go outside, etc., basically to get all the info. I knocked on her door, and Lucy woke up from sleep. She said she had been asleep for hours and nonchalantly said, I must not have pulled the door shut. I went back outside without really saying anything, found the cat in the crawl space under the house, and lured her out with food. You need to have a conversation. Just have a conversation with her and say, hey, like, do you mind just being really, careful about leaving the door open just because the cat?
Or never talk to her again. Never even say hi again.
Just don't say
like,
hi.
Literally, she'd be like, oh, hey, could you pass the salt? You're just like,
don't even talk to her. Steal her food in increments.
I get what you mean. You're blinking Morse. Look at that Morse code. Thank you, John.
communicate like that. You're welcome. You deserve it. Whoa. Nice.
This discovery is made a little while into the future, but despite getting her back and getting a flea collar, I am cursed. And the cat got fleas after this incident, which to deal with. I'm lucky she's the best cat ever, and I don't think she ever left the vicinity of the house, but she was really freaked out when I found her. After that, I started keeping her just in my room, which I felt really bad about, but Lucy kept leaving the door open and didn't seem to care that I didn't want the cat to get out. We were also lucky to be living in a great neighborhood, but our city as a whole is not the safest city. Not only was I freaking out that the cat was missing, but I got really paranoid about things like the stove being on and doors being unlocked, so all I could think about all the time was, what if Lucy left the door open? What if someone just walks in the house? What if we get murdered in our sleep? Some of the worries were very irrational, but regardless, I felt unsafe in the house. This is when I got mad.
Oh, here we go.
This is when OP puts her foot down.
This is all right. Time to put the big girl shoes on.
Up until this point, I was mostly just depressed and anxious and felt hurt by Megan, but I got angry at Lucy, and by extension, Megan, for engineering the situation in the first place. I still didn't even start a fight or anything with Lucy. I was just miserable and stayed in my room whenever I was home with the cat. I also tend to do things like go to the movies or the bookstore after work just so I could time it so I wouldn't have to see/interact with Lucy when coming home. This next event was during the next musical. Oh no. Opie's gonna be too busy now.
Oh no.
Oh, another musical.
It won't happen.
That we were working on at school. So once again, really bad timing in terms of my general stress and exhaustion levels.
Also, really quick,
Yes.
wouldn't it be hilarious if OP took this story and made it into a musical?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And then-
Art imitates life.
That's what I'm saying.
we
Because
go.
then she could invite Megan and Lucy and then tell them
Oh.
through the musical what she has to
pulls a
communicate.
little euphoria.
Guys, sorry, this is like side tangent, but
Yes.
this is getting out of hand. I think someone's playing a prank on me. So my sister just texted my family chat
Yeah.
and wanted Mexican food.
Yeah.
Do you know what she called Mexican food?
What?
Megan food. Like it was like a typo, Megan food. And she's like, oh, I meant Mexican food.
You're being attacked on
I
all
don't know what's
sides.
going on.
What's
I don't
happening?
like this. I do not like this at all.
I think it's a sign.
Do
I don't know
need to,
what for.
Actually, I don't want to. No, I don't.
Don't
like
read
this,
into
guys.
it.
It's reading into me.
Do we have any Megans on the RSVP list for the Halloween party?
on,
I
guys.
really hope
Hold on.
not, because if I
Everyone
see her,
pause.
I
We're gonna
can't
see
talk
right
to you.
now.
Pause the story. We're looking.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I thought that was hilarious. I had to bring it up.
Damn.
because
I mean, it is a little like it's getting creepy now.
It's
Like,
getting
a
creepy.
little
Well,
creepy.
because when we were reading downstairs too, John,
yeah,
it was like this girl's name is M, and I was like, you know what? Just for the funny of it, let's just name her Megan.
yeah.
So this is too much.
Guys, there's no Megans on this list.
But then,
Sorry about the whistle, guys. Whoop, whoop. Sorry about the whistle,
whoa.
guys.
But then, see, you think you're safe, right?
We're
Like,
gonna invite
there's
a
no
Megan.
Megans here. We don't even need to invite a Megan because someone will show up if someone brings their friend name.
Yeah.
Up,
Plus one is going to be Megan. Yeah.
right?
They're gonna bring their Megan.
And then literally Keon meets her. He's like, has a time like, oh my gosh, we were just chatting for hours. That's all these common interests. She's so cool. She's beautiful. She's awesome. Da, 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 da. And then it's like at the end of the night, it's like 2 a.m. She's like, okay, now I finally gotta go. He's like, oh, what's your name? And then she says, Megan.
Not
That's what's gonna happen.
And
I'm
she
literally
takes
gonna ask if I talk to anyone tomorrow. I'm like, "What's your name?" Even
I
if
would
it's a
hope you
guy.
would
What's your
ask
name? Your
that.
name's Megan. I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
I would hope that you would ask their name if you were talking to
Yeah,
them.
if you're talking to them till 2 a.m., you gotta ask for their name.
You
Or
first.
you're
gotta
like,
ask
"Shh."
for their name.
Well, I mean, it's
No
a Halloween
names.
party, so I'm like, "Oh, I'm Max.
Yeah.
You're who? I don't know what.
you don't tell people your name at Halloween
I'll
parties.
tell them my name, obviously.
I
But
think I always tell people my name.
okay,
We're just
You
built different.
Gotta commit to the costume.
yeah, commit to the bit. All right, sorry about that side tangent, guys. Really appreciate you all for support against Megan.
Woo! I was running late in the morning, and on my way towards the front door, Lucy slammed her door open.
Oh.
I thought that was an aggressive energy to start a conversation with, and then she basically said, I can't live like this anymore. You've been driving me crazy with all of the crap you leave around the kitchen, and your cat smells so bad and makes the house smell bad, and you never take out the trash. But with many more expletives. I was so confused. She had never once expressed any of these frustrations to me before. Who does that sound like, OP?
Nobody.
I was also very confused by the timing for a couple reasons. I had taken the trash out the night before. I hadn't cooked in the kitchen in months because I basically ate every meal at school or in my car, and I had moved all of the cat's litter box and stuff into my bathroom because of the letting her outside incident. I expressed these things to her, but admitted that I can take the trash out more often than I do and clean the microwave more thoroughly. I was living off microwave meals and hadn't touched the stove in forever, and pointed out that the stuff all over the kitchen was her food and plates and things. I didn't care that she had stuff out on the counters. It wasn't messy. We didn't have a ton of storage, so I figured the pile of potatoes in the corner on the counter and the stack of plates were just for convenience sake, instead of getting out the stepladder to put some stuff on the sparse top shelves. She did not like this, but I said I had to get to work and left to get in my car. I took a moment in my car to try and calm down, but I ended up crying and sitting there for a minute or two longer. And the lawyer princess says, plays the passive-aggressive roommate musical song.
Yeah, exactly.
She came outside and tapped on my car window to yell at me more. To paraphrase what she said, it was something like this. Wow, sorry, sarcastically. You're crying, but you've been so effing impossible to live with. You're so messy in common spaces. I know you told me that when we talked, but you also said if your roommate expressed a frustration about it, you cleaned immediately. She admitted that I said this when we first talked, and once again, I want to stress that she never told me she had any of these issues before this morning. The fridge is always full of your food, and you never made any space for me in the cabinets, and made me feel so effing unwelcome when I moved in. I wanted to tell her that I left the same amount of space open as when Megan and I shared the space, and Megan had more kitchen stuff than me, and that the day she moved in, I had just come back from cleaning out my dead grandmother's house, so I wasn't in a super cheery, welcoming mood. If she had asked me to clean out an extra shelf, it would have taken, 10 minutes? I would have done it easily if she had just asked. But I just said, I'll clean out a cabinet and left for work. I had a panic attack in front of a couple students, and during planning period, I called my mom to make a plan. When I got home, Lucy wasn't there. I cleaned out a whole cabinet of plates and mugs and things and put it in a box that just stayed on my bedroom floor until I moved. I extensively cleaned the kitchens and living room, removed pretty much any decorations / non-essentials that showed any personality, and put them in my room. I started packing moving boxes that night. I was the most depressed I've ever been in my life, and I hated my life so much. I knew I had to just leave the second it was possible. After the school year ended, I finished packing up my boxes, and I moved out all my stuff at the end of May. So technically still had 2 months on the lease.
Right.
I kept paying my more than half of the rent, but drove for 3 days across the country with a suitcase and my cat to my parents' house. I stayed there almost the whole summer, but because of my financial ties to the house and a slight worry that we won't get the security deposit back if I'm not there to make sure the house stays nice, I was still doing pretty bad mentally. As the summer was ending, I came back to town and texted her telling her that on the day before our move-out check, I would come to do a final clean and take the box of cleaning supplies that I left. I asked when she would be moved out so I could go without being in her way, And she said around 5 p.m.
You did it like no, you got to go like way before. 'Cause
Way before.
What if it's like an absolute mess?
Yes!
And now you have only, dude.
OP. OP. What are you doing? I was staying at my dad's house and had to drive 2.5 hours to get there. I arrived around 5 p.m. and she was not out of the house. In fact, it didn't look like a single box was even packed. I asked why she wasn't done yet, and she said because it's raining and her boyfriend only had a truck to move her out, and we had to check out at 9 a.m. the next morning. And I had a 2.5 hour drive, so I told her I just work around her stuff. And sorry that I can't do the final sweep. She said I wasn't allowed to open my door. What the hell? She said that since I left, my cat left behind fleas. I had gotten rid of the fleas. I will admit they're awful to deal with. There were probably some in the house when I left.
Say it over here. What do you got?
OP.
There's probably a few fleas left when I left.
OP. You're a bad roommate. You're a bad roommate. But she said she'd been vacuuming and bug bombing and trying desperately to get rid of them. There were no animals in the house for the last 2 months, so I feel like fleas should be dealt with. I don't know. Girl.
Dude, I had a friend who they got fleas. It was like one of those like 4 apartment complexes, so super small. They had like one shared, washer dryer unit, and some crazy lady with unkept, uncleaned got fleas in the washer dryer. Then it got in everyone in the apartment complex, and he said it was so insanely difficult to get rid of.
Yeah. Fleas are
So
very
hard.
difficult.
Yeah.
Anyways, I told her I had to get home. I couldn't wait around for her to pack and move out from start to finish. It was already 5 p.m. She said, well, sorry, but it's not my fault you waited until the last possible minute to deal with this. Which is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
Me? I'm not the one who hasn't started packing. I moved out my stuff in May. She also said that there was furniture that Megan left behind. She had advertised the room as furnished that she was not going to deal with. I drive a really small 2-door car. I cannot fit multiple furniture pieces into it just because she decided she didn't want the stuff that had been left in her room for her to use as furniture via the agreement with Megan.
Bro.
I was angry, but when I get overwhelmed, I just get emotional and cry. So this is the theme of the story. So I went to sit in my car while she went to rent a U-Haul or something. I called my uncle, who came over with his truck, and we just loaded all of Megan's stuff in the back in the rain and took it to Goodwill/the dump the next day based on how it fared in the rain. I wiped down and swept my room/bathroom, but her stuff was still everywhere in the common spaces. By the time I finished waiting for my uncle to arrive and then dealing with Megan's old stuff and the cleaning, it was around 11 p.m. I had to be up at 6 a.m. the next morning in order to come back to turn in my key the next day, so I left and prayed that Lucy would effectively clean when she finished getting out her stuff. This would be a good time for you to maybe call your landlord and say, hey, we need another day. Is that okay? We're having a little bit of a tough time moving everything out in a timely manner. Is that okay?
Sophia, you're forgetting one very important key thing.
That communicate.
That takes communicating.
That takes communication.
I have to talk. I have to say, I can't go. That's what I want to do.
No.
I just want to just make mouth movements with no noise coming out.
Yeah.
But instead of that, you're telling me I have to use my vocal cords to form words and sentences that make sense to go back and forth. I'm not going to do all that.
Nope. Too hard.
I can't do it.
She did not. Not only did she not deep clean anything, she left behind multiple pieces of furniture and bags of trash. We did not get back our security deposit.
The whole thing? Oh, dude.
We also owed money after that because they had to hire people to haul away stuff, deep clean, and repaint because of how much she smoked in the house and to get rid of the fleas. I admitted that the fleas could have been my bad.
Might have been me.
OP.
Well, I mean, didn't Lucy let out the
Lucy
cat?
let out the cat, totally or bad, but you can get fleas off of a cat.
Oh, yeah.
If you actually do it.
Yeah. Or you could have communicated, hey, you let the cat out, Lucy. Could you pay for the flea medication or get rid of the fleas? You did this. It was an inside cat.
And again, this involves communication.
But that's step 1.
Also, I'm sorry. We know that Lucy is, a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you go and check that this was all being moved out?
Dude.
It's that you have to do it, but do it so that you don't have to pay $1,000.
Exactly. Don't put things off on other
Come on.
people. It's okay, yeah, it should be pretty much everything we've seen here their responsibility, but it's
But they
if you
didn't
don't
do it.
If they didn't do it, and if you don't come in and check, the only person you're hurting is
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, it's like when people aren't going to do things, then you need to step up and do it, and you can't complain that it wasn't done when you had time to fix it. Like, obviously they're the a-holes for these things, but like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
Because we didn't get the security deposit back, I didn't get any money back to cover the money Megan owed me for the rent last 4 months. So I was out $2,000. I'm lucky that even though I'm a teacher, not the best paid of professions, I don't have any dependents or anything, and I was able to stay with my parents for free over the summer, so it didn't catapult me into financial ruin. Things have been a little tighter than I liked the last couple of months, but I'm fine, and oh my God, I'm fine with you guys joining us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile.
I'm not.
And there is a little bit left of this story.
Oh, the gift that keeps giving.
Oh my God. Lady Jade Master says OP must have really bad anxiety because they are a wreck. Yeah, indeed. Lori says, OP, the fleas were your problem. Yep. Man, oh man. I literally OP made so many mistakes in the story. So many mistakes.
I was gonna say, well, it's funny when John's not there. I think everyone here is just
Everyone
little
here
stinky
sucks.
butthole.
No, everyone here sucks.
Yeah.
But the only reason I'm riding on OP is because it's from their perspective.
Yeah, they're the only person we can talk to.
Yeah, the only person we can talk to, and the person who has consistently kind of made it seem like nothing is their fault.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, Lisa and Megan for different reasons, but OP is the one here who's standing in front of us and being like, it's their fault. I did nothing wrong. How could they do that to me? And yet over and over just.
And in Megan's defense, Megan did say okay, hey, I was the one to do this, so let me try to find someone. Let me do this. Again, Megan had her other thing that went back on her word on the payment and stuff, but she did try to stay on top of it. She did try to communicate a lot, where the OP did
zero,
almost zero.
I feel like Megan owes me the $1,000.
Come on.
Girl, I feel like she doesn't. I don't like Megan, but I feel like she doesn't.
Also, once again, OP is making a decision. If she's gonna start coming after Megan for the $1,000,
Should have done that way sooner.
should have done it way sooner. And I feel like you're only setting yourself up for more headaches and frustration. The same way you could have gone in earlier to clean. Headaches and frustration. You could have been involved in the roommate finding process. Headaches and OP just keeps
So many
putting
times.
herself in these situations where she.
If you wanted Megan to pay the $300 a month, say, hey, no, you still need to pay for that because you undercharged the room.
Come on.
My
Come
favorite
on.
thing is OP just keeps pointing the finger at everyone.
Yes.
It's like, they did it. They did it.
She's not taking
I
any
guess the fleas were
responsibility.
my bad, but they still did it.
Yes, nothing is OP's fault.
It's the fleas' fault. It's the fleas'
Yeah.
fault. It's not my fault. It's the cat's fault,
No.
which is Megan's fault. So it's ultimately Megan's fault.
Put a finger at a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
My family and friends say she should pay the other $1,000 of the security deposit because she was the one who vetted Lucy.
I think the story broke Sophia.
It did. I hate this person. And swore she's a responsible and nice roommate. Okay, just real quick. You can never tell if someone's actually a responsible and nice person unless you live with them.
What?
Again, I don't like Megan. She is an a-hole. But Megan cannot tell whether or not this person is a good roommate from a couple interactions. That's just how living with anyone that you don't know or even that you do know is a risk.
You can't guarantee me that this person will be perfect, even though you just met them a few days ago and talked to them for an hour.
Yeah.
You can't give me 1,000% guarantee.
Come on.
Huh?
I met him on the internet. I trust it.
But I just don't want to deal with it anymore. I know that she would just see it the way she wants to and blame me for all of it. I know there are parts of this that I could have absolutely handled better, but at least it's over. Thank God. Thankfully, I'm now living with my cat and previously mentioned best friend in an apartment that I can afford by myself. Oh, the cat is your best friend.
Oh, no.
That I can afford by myself when they move out for graduate school. Oh, no. Okay. You are living with a human person. Sorry. Okay. And I'm much happier in my life than a few months ago. I can't believe I wrote this much about it, but I feel like it's an outlet to explain my side of the situation and feelings to Megan almost. I'm sure she's not on Reddit or anything, but it felt good to type it all out and hope that maybe one day she'll understand how she made me feel. Also, if I was really in the wrong in any of these situations, I would love to know.
Yeah, Sophia, tell him.
You were.
Yeah, tell her. Yeah.
In almost all of the situations. I feel like I handled it to the best of my ability and tried to be understanding, but it truly was the worst year of my life. So I might have been unable to see if my behaviors were causing any of the tension. Wow, I can't believe I wrote that much. Peace out. And that's the end of that story.
That's how you end it. Peace out, Girl Scout.
Peace out.
See ya.
Wow. So this is just 3 people I would hate to live with. 3 people I would never want to live
Oh,
with.
so like truly, honestly, is this just the Olympic game for worst roommates,
Worst roommates.
of all time?
3 of the worst roommates.
I have to ask, can
Yes.
we rank them really quickly?
Yes.
Like who's the
Yeah.
worst? Tell me. No.
Okay.
It's tough, right?
This is tough.
I
They're all really
actually
bad
had
for
this
different
question earlier too.
reasons.
It's like, how do we rank the 3?
Yeah.
Like the thing is that I really hate OP.
Yeah.
I really hate OP.
Low key, both of them on communication, OP was absolutely the worst. Because
Yes.
eventually the two of them, not the best way ever, but they
I think Lisa
communicated
and OP
something.
were the worst at communication.
Yeah. Yeah.
Megan.
It was Lucy, right? Or
Lucy? Lisa?
That was
Lucy.
Lucy? Yeah. Lucy and Megan were the worst at communication. I feel like the only bad things that we heard about Megan, I mean, not as a person. She seemed
Yeah.
like she had a lot of problems as a person.
Yeah.
But like roommate wise,
Yeah.
it seems like she broke the lease, but gave a month in advance and was paying.
Mm-hmm. But then later went back on that.
Yes.
I would say maybe.
I want to put Megan in the middle.
Yeah.
I think
Megan
Megan's in the
number
middle.
2?
I think Megan's in number 2.
Megan is.
So then
number
it's like
2.
Lucy or OP in the first spot.
Yeah.
I have my ranking.
Okay, what's
Tell
your
us.
ranking?
Okay, OP's number 1. I mean, OP, you just.
OP's the worst because she made me read this story.
The 7,000 plus
Yeah.
word story.
Yeah.
Am I the worst?
Also, we did get like little bits, nuggets and stuff about OP admitting that she was really messy. I just want like she
Unreliable
she glossed over that, but she did not deny any of the messy allegations.
I'll tell you my reasoning why, again, OP is number 1.
Yes.
Because OP just didn't do anything
Anything.
here to
Yeah.
like, she's like, you know what, I'm gonna be petty. I'm not gonna figure this out. She took no initiative to find a roommate really
Yeah.
until the very end where she's like stressing herself out. Like Megan had her thing and Megan's sure, but OP was the constant denominator of just like, you're doing this to yourself.
Yeah.
You're shooting yourself in the foot. Someone said that in the comments. You're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
I
So-
think in terms of maybe worst roommate, just in general, like, you know, if I were just experiencing them in the wild, it would be Lucy, Megan, OP in that order. But in terms of whom I hated, it's OP, Megan, Lucy.
Yeah, I feel like it seemed like Lucy was like more annoying to like actually live with day to day, which is frustrating. But then I really hate like, and again, I get it, but like I do hate like Megan just like leaving OP to like.
That's why I think she's just second for me.
I think
They're all
I'm
bad.
I think I'm OP, Megan, Lucy.
Yeah.
They're kind of tied though. Megan and Lucy are tied because like abandoning you is and then living with the person that sucks.
Sucks.
There we go. But that's
But there
it.
you have it. That's the end of that story.
That's the end.
Of our food
I think
here.
Sophia's broken.
Oh, we're
Do I
gonna.
take a little bean break?
We're about to see. But how about we sign off?
Yes.
The good people, guys.
Give the good people what they want.
I'm about to ruin my best friend's life. I don't feel remorse.
Dude, don't feel remorse.
I gotta watch out then.
Yeah.
My soon-to-be ex-best friend and I have been friends since middle school. We know everything about each other, and our families are basically one big family now. You get the idea. And by the way, this comes from Throwaway, Don't Deserve It from the BRRU Updates subreddit. So like I said, we tell each other everything. Recently, she came to me telling me that she's been having an affair for about 4 months with her superior at her new job.
Wow. They did not bury the lead.
No, they did not.
Wow.
It's just out there.
Okay.
She started it about a year ago. So she's a year deep into the affair.
Here for an oh god, I hate that.
She told me, not out of guilt, but to brag about the dream vacation she's going on with her affair partner disguised as a work trip. Poll right now. Answer in the comments and chat. Tell or not. Tell or not tell. Please let me know. We're going to keep going.
I mean, chat's gonna say tell, of course.
Of course, right?
Of course. Come on, chat.
She asked me to cover for her if her husband asks if we've been in contact because she's planning on going black for that week. So we would have no way of finding out.
Wait, so she's trying to make OP complicit
Yep.
in her affair lies.
Yes.
Whack.
Yes.
Whack. How daft do you have to be that you think OP would go along with this?
I think we have another similar situation to the last episode we just recorded where it was like, hey, there was this person that started showing me love or whatever it was, but there was just so much reality distortion and rose tinted glasses. I couldn't see through it until now, until the breaking point.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing for this story. Side note, we've both known her husband since high school.
Oh, yeah.
Friends with the husband.
You're gonna have to tell him.
Old friends. They're high school lovers, so they've been together for almost 15 years. Her husband is one of the most honest, hardworking, and genuine people I know. He, of course, took everything she said about working late and the business trip at face value because he trusts her more than he even trusts himself.
Oh, that's what makes it so much worse. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Dude, hearing something like that makes me not want to trust anyone.
Right? It's so sad.
It's so sad, which I won't. I will still trust people, by the way, but
it makes you not.
But it makes me not want to, because I'm like, what if you put your trust in the wrong person?
Right?
I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of character, though.
We have a good trustworthy circles around us.
Question for you. I was talking to Henry about this morning. Do you think people are mostly good or mostly bad?
I feel like mostly good in like every interaction I've had, but could more see the argument for no, mostly good. I was gonna say outside of like, the world at large, maybe a different story, but yeah, I think mostly good.
I think for sure most people I interact with mostly good.
Mostly not evil. That's how I'd.
But I feel like people are mostly good generally. Yeah. I think you give the opportunity for people to be bad, they will be bad too.
Yes.
But it's like both are true. But in my experience, I think if you carry yourself in certain ways, you will see mostly good.
I've seen mostly good, but I've also never had a friend like this one with OP.
That's true. Maybe it's because you're mostly good.
Maybe. But OP says, I told her that I would not be covering for her and to get out of my house because I couldn't even look at her right now. Later, I told my husband everything that happened, and he was just as shocked and disgusted. Her husband is basically his best friend now.
How would you think this would go well? Like, this is like, maybe if her friend was telling a friend that didn't even know the husband and wasn't so close, like maybe there wouldn't be fallout from that. It would still be a bad look, obviously. But if you're doing a heist, you make sure you don't tell anyone about the heist if you want the heist to be successful.
Unless you want to be caught.
You want the fame of being caught for doing the biggest diamond heist of all time.
These are the vibes that I'm getting. So, of course, my husband is loyal to him, has a lot of loyalty to him. My husband pointed out something I didn't even think of, our security camera, and it caught everything. Caught everything of what? We're finding out. So we plan on going to her husband tonight with the proof. It will be up to him to do what he wishes, but he deserves to know. Yeah, I think it's maybe audio there too, which makes sense. I mean, there's security cameras with audio.
Question for you. Do you tell your friend that you're going to tell the husband, or do you go direct to the husband? Because we've had stories in the past where like you tell the partner that you're going to go to the husband or like the wife, and then the partner tries to spin something to turn their significant other against the people that are trying to tell the truth.
Because they have both of them have such a deep and close relationship with the husband, go direct to avoid any possible complications. Yeah.
I think if you have an individual relationship with the person who is being wronged, you can go individually to that person.
You can totally go direct. Although the tell him I will is also not a bad option in many cases, but I think in this case in particular, definitely go direct. I would say definitely go direct. Secondly, we're taking this to her job because it was the boss.
Oh,
don't forget, lock in.
I don't know if I would do that.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
I don't think so. I'm gonna reserve my answer. Getting some more information here. As far as I know, fraternization of any kind is prohibited at her workplace, quote unquote. She was also promoted once by the same supervisor, so I guess this could be seen as favoritism. Our guess is that they will both be fired. Finally, I'm going to send a snippet of her admitting the affair to all of her family. So I believe that confirms it was the audio of it, but
this feels like overkill.
I think so. This definitely feels like more
I don't
clearly.
like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, we're going beyond what's necessary to communicate, and then
Do they have kids?
Do they have kids? I forget.
They're high school sweethearts, so they I don't think we know for sure yet. But high possibility. They've at least been together for a very long time.
Just because if they have kids, then getting her fired at her job also does affect that.
Oh, good point. Telling the husband and
telling the husband is necessary
because you're almost like the husband should be the one to decide the fate of what happens to her with everything in terms of like, does he want to tell the job or like whatever else? You're now almost like in a way taking that away from the husband and being like, okay, I'm going to get you fired. I'm going to get your family mad at you. And you're going past your jurisdiction.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're not affected. No one you really know is affected. Even the people that like are affected, maybe that someone's passed over for a promotion. It's not as bad as what's happening with your friend, the husband. Dixie Blue Steel says, tell the husband, not the family and the work. I agree that beyond the husband feels just like cruel, like overly cruel.
Yeah, we're going, but which, hey, you know what? Maybe she deserves all this. The person who's the victim of her crimes should have more of a role to say in all of that than OP, who's a bystander.
And you know what? Also, think about OP. Think about the husband. Do you think the husband is going to want all of this dirty laundry aired out to his entire family?
Almost certainly not.
But dude, if someone cheated on me, I'm in like a committed relationship. Someone cheats on me, I don't necessarily want everyone to know that my relationship blew up in a fiery ball of sex crazed boss vacations. I want to quietly retreat into a hole and be sad and listen to some Green Day and maybe watch Ratatouille like 30 times. Like that's not like that's what I need, not a full expose to my entire family.
Not a YouTube documentary.
Exactly.
So then I created a YouTube channel.
Yeah, dude, this is whack. I actually think it's whack.
Yeah.
I think it's whack.
It's getting pretty egregious. So finally, I'm going to send a snippet of her admitting the affair to all of her family, including mine. As I said, our families are very intertwined, so I will easily be able to contact the majority of her family. I'm not going to give her a chance to spin this against me or her husband. Some may think this is harsh, but I wholeheartedly disagree with what she is doing. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a quick update coming up. Comments from the community, the judgment, and of course, the final update deciding the fate.
Thick, juicy update
of everything. We are going to see what happens here.
Oh, so we're going to see like what OP actually does, like the fallout
and
of
the
what she does.
fallout from what happens, right? Will the marriage stand? Will it not?
Also, Radish says, did Sam say Green Day is his sad music? Yeah. I walk this lonely road, the only road that I have ever known. Don't know where it...
No, that was pretty good, guys. But yeah, so just to put a cap on everything here. So yeah, you're right now like everything beyond telling the husband is just in the whack zone.
Yeah, in the whack zone, because I think it actually potentially hurts the husband.
Yeah, I think I'm on board with you. I think there's just so much damage, and again, like it's just you're taking so much control out of his hands and making these decisions for them. At least it feels like to me. So I don't know. She said the point of her like spinning the narrative.
So like I do understand that. That is something that we've dealt with before, where a person will like go tell the like family a bunch of lies and spin it in some terrible way. But I think again, like if anyone is to do this, let it be the husband.
Yeah.
You know, you're taking away his agency.
Yes.
Because it's like he's really the one that's going to be affected by all this. So let the husband like tell his family. Don't tell the family for him.
Well, let's get into the small update. Everyone's involved. Alyssa, the best friend, Noah, my BFF's husband. I decided to take the advice of a few people and reach out to my best friend before I went to her husband. Okay, so she is telling her.
So if you don't tell him, I will.
Yeah, it's looking like we're gearing up to.
Which is
also generally a very good move.
Generally a good move.
Yes. I recorded the conversation and let her know that it was for my safety. She still seemed extremely nonchalant about the whole thing. I told her I was worried for her, and even for her, this was very out of a character behavior. Long story short, she felt very weak and unbalanced in her and her husband Noah's marriage. For context, her husband Noah went to a trade school and makes very good money, while up until her promotion, Alyssa was making slightly more than minimum wage. She has recently been reading up on some anti-traditional values, and the women in these forums attacked her for making less than her husband. It almost seems like this is it's not quite the female version of being red-pilled, but she's like going into these forums and then it's like, you're not making as much as your husband. How dare you? And now she's like cheating with the boss. Like
that's whack.
She went into one of the classic internet rabbit holes that like upends your life for absolutely no logical reason.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's like disguised as self-empowerment, but it's really just destructive behavior that's really rude and cruel to people around.
So she then explained that she noticed her supervisor was trying to flirt with her, and her internet friends told her to run with it and use him to get higher up. Wow. She, of course, did, but admitted she'd become emotionally attached to him as well. All in all, she admitted she really doesn't regret the affair because it helped with her career and she found love.
Okay, wait, really quick. Where is she working that she's like making just above minimum wage?
That's a great question.
Because like I'm
don't-
imagining she's like flirting with like the manager at McDonald's or something to like
I was guessing
climb
maybe
the ladder.
maybe you're like the secretary or office manager,
But
and
even
then you're
secretary or office manager.
it's
like,
more than
makes
minimum
above
wage,
minimum
usually,
wage,
or at least slightly more than minimum.
Right?
I would guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, but yeah, this is. Oh my
I
god,
do not like this.
dude! I told her also, real quick before we get back, if she had just gone to the husband and been like, "Hey, look, I want to advance. You've advanced your career. I want to advance in my career. What can we do to like help me advance in my career?" He'd probably be like, "Hey, yeah, can we get you some schooling? Like
Yeah,
let me
exactly.
pay for tuition or do
You don't have to sleep with your boss to move up in the ladder.
what are we doing?"
Although it seems like it worked.
It did work, but do not use this as a manual, you freaking maniacs.
It's not a manual. It's Emmanuel.
Anyways.
If it didn't work, no one would ever do it.
That's true. It
Dang it,
does work.
Sophia.
Yeah.
Stop. We have to stop the train before it leaves the station. One person is going to sit, one of these clips is going to go viral. Someone's going to be like,
Or have
and then another story is going to happen.
have your higher ups run a train so you can get higher up.
No.
Yep.
No, I wasn't condoning it.
Sounds like you were condoning it. Sophia.
No.
I tried, Sophia.
I agree with John.
Yeah. Hooray. But OP says, I told her that she had the option to tell Noah the truth before me, but my husband and I were coming over tonight with the video of her admitting the affair, so she wouldn't be able to sway it in her favor. Again, she very nonchalantly said, okay, and then hung up on me.
She doesn't give a crap.
I think she wanted it. I think low-key her telling OP was like, because she's known her for years, she's like, I know that she'll rat on me.
Oh, she's like, I want it to implode.
That's my guess right now. So I don't know what the heck is going on. I can't tell if she's having some sort of psychosis or if she's literally just so detached from her marriage that she doesn't care what happens. Hubby and I are still planning to go to Noah tonight. I'm honestly intrigued to see what she says to him, if she says anything at all.
Oh, I'm so curious. What happens? There's an update, right?
There's an update. There's comments. We have a judgment.
Oh,
Listen, we are
oh.
so far from over. It's not even funny.
Oh,
But let's get into these quick comments real quick. So ZL Depin says, tell the husband. Then it's his decision on how
Yes.
scorched earth he wants to go.
yes.
What do we say? What you do to her affects him. Get her fired. You risk that he'll have to pay spousal support to her. Tell the family they're going to bombard him.
Yeah.
Great points. No Pants Power Stance says, tell the husband, but you can offer to go further scorched earth, but leave it to him.
Yeah.
What if he wants to play it cool while he gets his affairs in order? Do they have kids?
My question.
Maybe he wants to control information that gets filtered to them. And as said above, you could potentially hurt him in the divorce should he choose to go that way. I think a bunch of other factors. Maybe he doesn't want his heart ripped out publicly. Maybe that'll just hurt him further. Leave these decisions up to him. Totally agree.
Amen. Amen. That's a W comment.
W comment.
W comment, which we already said. So W comments from us.
W to us. I
W,
mean,
yeah. We actually
we're the
deserve
biggest
W's.
W here. And Grapefruit Express 208 says, also, if she gets fired / loses her job before the divorce, she might try to get more alimony from her husband. So I agree.
Yep.
Inform the husband and let him get his ducks in a row. She chose to cheat on her timeline. Let him proceed with the divorce on his timeline. Also, while she goes away on that trip, that would be a good time for her husband to meet with the lawyers. And the judgment was not the a-hole, which we have a big update, not just one update, but two, all within days of each other.
Oh,
so
we got big things coming.
and it explodes quickly. This is definitely a domino chain effect. But
In terms of not the a-hole,
Yes.
I think OP is not the a-hole unless they
Do
I
the
think,
scorched earth.
unless they do scorched
actually
earth.
go for it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think full
Agreed.
scorched earth is kind of a-hole, but telling the husband is not the a-hole.
Yeah, maybe it's like, you have the actual harmful effects haven't happened yet. She had the thought of doing this. it seems like her heart was in the right place, but maybe she was just like thinking out of rage and not thinking about the. Hopefully, she read these comments before all that happened in this next update.
But it sounds like she was gonna move quick, so maybe.
Oh,
not.
she was.
Just like, I read your comments, but
I already threw the bomb.
I already do it. I did it.
Well, guys, remember how she said she was going over tonight? 2 days late.
Ooh, baby.
I apologize for not having time last night. We were obviously busy. So for the people involved, my ex-bestie, Alyssa, and my bestie's husband, Noah. So I took a lot of people's advice and decided not to go nuclear. There we go.
Bravo.
There we go.
Restraint. We love to see it. We don't
Restraint.
often do.
Now
There we
we're
go.
just in a Cold War.
Exactly. As many people said, at the end of the day, it's not my circus. The decision should be left up to the wronged party, and that is Noah, her husband.
Agreed.
I also decided to reach out to Alyssa before telling Noah and decided to give her a chance to confess to Noah herself. After I talked to her, I was legit thinking about reaching out to her parents about medical help because she was like, maybe this is some kind of psychosis or because it was so out of character. She was like, I just don't know what could have possessed her. Maybe it's actually a medical thing. Because she was so unbothered and so unremorseful about the affair that I thought she might be having some sort of mental break or psychosis. Yeah, Alyssa's always been the kind to find loopholes or ways ahead, but cheating on your spouse of almost 2 decades for financial gain? It was not normal. I agree. If you didn't see my small update, the whole reason that Alyssa started the affair was to get a promotion at work. It evolved into an emotional affair eventually, though. She admitted that her new friends from some feminism forums and Facebook groups told her that she wasn't as valuable if she was making significantly less than her spouse.
What are these feminist forums? That doesn't sound very feminist.
How is you're making less than your husband means you're worth less than your husband? Feminism.
Yeah. It's like
Sophia?
Not feminist.
Sophia,
As a women, expert
Sophia, as
on
a
all women.
feminist,
As a feminist, this
As-
is not feminism.
I don't know. What is that? What is that voice?
I don't know.
Swedish?
That's my feminist voice.
That's my feminist accent. Now, something I've learned is she's been more insecure about what she's been telling people. They also told her that using a man isn't cheating as long as there's no emotional attachment.
What?
That she's being a girl boss. Shut up, Riley. He's in the background now. She admitted that she couldn't separate her feelings from the intimate aspect and started going on regular dates and vacations. And eventually, they started calling each other boyfriend and girlfriend. Now, the affair partner / boss knows she's married, but was told that they were on the verge of separation. The classic,
classic.
we're
that
on the way out the
always
door.
happens.
We're just not divorced on paper. Come on, man. My hubby and I arrived in Noah and Alyssa's with some booze and some dinner. And by the time we were there, Noah had already gone through a bottle of wine. Surprisingly, Alyssa did confess to Noah about the affair. He told us it was extremely non-apologetic, the way she's been this whole story, it seems. She sat him down and told him that she wasn't going on a business trip this week, that she was going on a vacation with her boyfriend.
Yeah, also, not just a vacation, my dream vacation.
My dream vacation?
He's
I mean,
my
like-
dream vacation, my dream man, and my dream schlong.
So, Noah, being the clueless and loyal person he is, thought that she meant to say husband and was so excited.
Oh.
So when she admits to the affair, he thinks that she's playing this, little game of like, oh yeah, me and my husband, my boyfriend are going on a vacation this week. He's like, really? Let me pack my bags.
That's such golden retriever energy.
This is you. This is you. Imagine.
Dude, this is
Imagine
like,
a world.
this is like, hey, we're going to go to the farm and I'm putting you down. The farm in heaven.
Oh, God. So he asked if they were going to Italy like they had planned for. And Alyssa, she just stared at him.
Oh,
She repeated, with my boyfriend. It took a few minutes, but it finally sunk in. He told us it wasn't pretty after that. And he said that he embarrassingly got on his knees and begged her to fix everything. Not the knees.
Not Italy, please.
Dude. She yelled for a bit, but then was just stonewalling him again. How is she the one yelling? What? What is happening?
I feel like this woman is neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it.
She was already packed to leave. She just left him there sobbing. She turned off her location, which both Noah and I were a part of her family on the app. Wow.
And then she turns it back on when she's in Italy.
Oh, dude. Also, if you didn't catch that last part, they all share their locations with each other. That's how close everyone is. My God.
I share my location with everyone.
Right? You do. It's a good
Wow. I don't feel special anymore.
one. Ooh.
So do you.
That's not true.
Yes,
I
it
only
is.
have like 40 people that I share my location with.
Yeah. It's a tight circle of
It's a
40.
tight circle.
And we have no idea where she went. We assume that she went to her affair partner's house because if she had gone home with her 2 suitcases, her mother would have reached out to Noah immediately. She sees him as a son. I explained to him that in a moment of blind rage, I was planning on going scorched earth and telling everyone, but once I calmed down and looked at this rationally, I realized that it wasn't the right thing to do, which was what we thought was the case.
I mean, more like Reddit told her not to.
This is true. Yeah, that is true. The only person going full nuclear who would be hurt was him, because Alyssa obviously doesn't care anymore. As I suspected, the idea of reconciliation is still going on in his mind, but he doesn't see it happening. In order to reconcile, both parties must admit fault and want to reconcile. Alyssa clearly doesn't. Absolutely. We've gotten him in contact with a friend of my husband's who's agreed to help him pro bono until the divorce shows results. So I can tell that he's still hesitant about going forward with the divorce, but he knows that he can't force Alyssa to stay. As the comments have suggested, this is where we bow out. We're obviously going to continue to support Noah, but it's not our situation to handle. It's his. If there's any future updates, I'll of course ask Noah first. There are future updates. Stay tuned. But you'll be the second to know. Thanks for being so supportive and helpful. It made me realize that how Noah handles his life and his marriage is his responsibility, not mine. So, guys, we have not only another edit, not only more comments with OP's response, but the big kahuna, an update 9 days later, possibly after she comes back from the vacation, the dream vacation,
Ooh!
and confronting her again.
I just feel bad that he's like, I still want to fix this. And the only, like, it's just not fixable. It's like,
He's the good guy to a fault, right? He's like, how can I reconcile? But also, this is the first night he has found out. So
yeah. He's going through
with
the
processing.
levels of grief.
yeah. So hopefully he comes around in these 9 days we have left, the ticking time bomb. OP has said, OP is now like, I've informed him, I've done my job, I'm bowing out.
Which is the right move from OP. I think OP has reclaimed their not the a-hole title, or reaffirmed it rather, because not doing the crazy stuff, you know.
What do you now think the husband should do? Because now
What the husband should do,
the
I
torch has
mean,
been passed.
you can't reconcile because she's not going to reconcile.
Agreed.
I think you cut your losses. And I think you I think you walk a lonely road because it's the only road that you have ever known. And you might not know where it goes.
But let's get into this next quick edit. So, wanted to clear up some questions from the last post that I didn't really answer in the update. So, what did Alyssa ever do that made you want to go so nuclear? Honestly, nothing in particular. Like I said, for the past few years, our friendship has been for convenience at best. We've basically been best friends because we know each other so well, and we have at least one friend in common. Alyssa has always had qualities I don't agree with, but who doesn't? Also, sometimes the childhood friendships carried over. You can just grow so differently, and your grandfathered in. It's a whole thing. I think it was just a whole situation that made my blood boil, especially since Alyssa has always been disgusted by cheaters. Wow. She was the kind of person to cut dozens of people out of her life if it meant not supporting someone's infidelity.
Wow.
So for her to make a complete 180 and not even have guilt for it, it just grinds my gears. That's part of the reason I think she's having some sort of mental breakdown. Not only is it hypocritical, it's extremely out of character, and even for her. Next question. Are you in love with Noah, the friend's husband? Of course not. Singing someone's praises and trying to portray they're a genuine and good person doesn't automatically mean you want to sleep with them. Our relationship has been nothing more than platonic for the entire time I've known him, because he loved Alyssa and I loved their happiness. I love my husband and literally only ever saw Noah like a brother. Logic, please. And we have some quick relevant comments where OP responds. Lost Wind Talker says, I hope he has some self-respect and dignity and goes through with the divorce. If he decides to inform their employer, tell him to do it after the divorce and after getting money if he gets any.
Yeah.
OP says, as much as I love the guy, he basically worships the ground that Alyssa walks on. If she came to the door right now and said sorry with even no remorse behind it, I'm 99% sure he'd pretend like the last 4 months were a fever dream.
Oh,
Whoa.
she's got him wrapped around her finger.
Wrapped around.
Wrapped.
Lost Wind Talker responds to that. That mentality alone is why she is walking all over him. She knows he will stay put. Dude is setting himself up for a lifetime of heartache. Time heals all wounds unless you keep picking at the scab.
Damn, that's a bar too. That's
I
a
need to-
bar.
That's really good. Okay. But
Wait, dude, it's like it's there's something like
Time heals
I
all
opened my
wounds.
heart and she gave it and she gave it a
The
stab.
stab.
Time
Heals
heals
all
all
wounds
wounds unless you
keep
keep
picking
it
at
in
the
the scab.
that's
you-
crazy.
what's
Someone
that?
DM that
That's
to
a
me
bar.
later or something. That's really
a bar.
good. Oh man. Guys, this is the moment that we've all been waiting for. The update from
moment
9
you've
days
all
later.
been waiting for.
And it is so fat.
In one corner, you have OP going scorched earth on all the people. In the other, you have Noah in a corner,
Crying,
crying,
begging,
Begging
bleeding on his knees. Let me ask you this
Yeah, let me.
before we get into this. OP is a good friend of Noah's. She sees that, like, even if she says sorry with nothing behind it, he'll go back to her. Should OP still be involved in, as a friend, helping Noah navigate and being a like slight accountability partner and making sure that he, does what's best for him, goes through the divorce, not in a overly, in like a supportive friend way and not a like do this kind of way?
So
You know what I'm saying?
I have been in this position before where I kind of like getting someone else's life a little bit on track.
Yeah.
With like a relationship that was like going through a difficult period, and something that I felt is like, and so this is the philosophy that I have, is you only know like 10% of someone's relationship, and so they might be coming to you with like all these problems, but like there's a reason that they're staying in it.
Mhm.
So I think what you can do is you can offer yourself as moral and emotional support, and like just like reflect what you're seeing and what you're saying to them. But I don't think you can give like hard and fast advice on like stay away from this person, or even though you might want to, because I think it like at the end of the day you just really don't know what a relationship looks like fully. Even though like what we're seeing is terrible, the tip of the iceberg is not nice. I think it's really hard to give hard and fast advice, but like Caitlin Van Campen says, accountability buddy for sure.
Accountability buddy.
Accountability buddy.
buddy.
Kimberly Fine says, be his little co-signer, stand behind him and throw out some starry when he needs a hype up while
He goes,
confronting her. Yeah.
he goes, there's the door. And then OP goes, there's the door,
yeah.
Yeah. Don't let it hit you with a good Lord split you.
Yeah.
I'm curious, poll, push Noah or nah? Do we push Noah to stay? I would, in literally every other scenario, I would agree with what you're saying, but I might disagree this time. I am debating in my head and gonna read this update to decide, but I feel like she has so much context. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, they've shared each other's location.
Exactly. That's true. It's
darn
true. They
sake.
know. And they've known each other for a decade over.
So I'm almost like, is this a scenario? Is this a very rare edge case scenario where kind of pushing him harder than just the echoing support would be? But then she's also OP has shown that she could easily go for full nuclear. I don't know.
I think it could be a little bit more heavy-handed, but like generally, I think emotional support, and like Nikki Bordeaux is like, remember this awful thing they did and how you felt.
That's
like,
a great.
that's a good reflection.
Yeah.
AQ says, don't push, offer support for whatever he wants to do. Yeah, I think that's the move.
So far, 100% of people are saying nah. Oh, there we go. 20%. All right. So chat, vote in the poll. Let's get into this.
Yeah.
Final nuclear update.
Final update. So we're okay. We're here. We're here. I'm excited.
Buckle in. But listen, it's got juice.
It's got juice.
9 days later. Well, I didn't expect to be back so soon, but the last week has basically been a speed run of terrible events. This will probably be my last update. It is. So feel free to consider this the conclusion of the events. Everything bad that could have happened has happened.
Sweet.
In 9 days.
Ugh.
The past 2 days specifically have been absolutely horrible. Sorry if this is all over the place. I'm still all over the place. So I don't know if it was the day she left or the day after, but Alyssa and the affair partner did go on their vacation. The only reason I know is because she posted pictures all over social media of her and her affair partner.
Joking.
She has absolutely no shame.
No shame.
No shame.
That's crazy that someone would do that. Like,
monster.
so at this point, like, it feels like it's going past I'm being manipulated by some weird subreddit and going towards like maybe psychopath tendency a little bit, right? Because like this is like just not, and I don't want to throw that term around like too willy nilly, but who does that?
This is like very intentional, like knife twisting, zero empathy, zero.
Also, so she just posted pictures with her boss on the trip. Is that what we just?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just posted pictures with her boss on the trip.
Are you saying could it be interpreted as like?
No,
just the
I'm
trip, or-
asking because someone said Slightly Tove said, "Can we please tell her job now?" Wouldn't that be kind of obvious to her? Like people can find that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like now
it might be a ticking time bomb at this point.
Dude, she's
For-
trying to
just for
implode
her.
her life. He's trying to implode her life.
Well, it was very clear that even if she wasn't divorced, this was her new boyfriend, which of course notified her family of the issues. Noah's phone was blowing up with apologies, accusations, everything you could think of. Noah, being the people pleaser that he is, decided to tell her family they were on a mutual break instead of telling everyone that she cheated and that person was the affair partner. Alyssa's mom, fortunately, didn't believe him and came to me. I didn't hold back. I told her that she's been cheating on Noah for months and that she recently bragged to me about her sugar daddy affair partner and that the only reason she's coming and that is the only reason she's come clean to Noah. Alyssa's mom then dropped a bomb on me that I didn't even know. Alyssa is a serial cheater. This is far from the first time, ladies and gentlemen.
Noah.
And Noah stayed poor, dude. Hashtag free Noah. Hashtag free Noah.
Noah, just say
Fill
no.
the comments.
Just say no, Noah.
Flood it. Flood the comments. Hashtag free motherfucking Noah.
Noah, get on the boat. Leave. Please.
Bring all of your
God.
animal friends with you and not Alyssa. She's a cheetah that you don't want to bring with you.
I don't want to have those things reproduce.
Her mom said in high school that Alyssa would bring boys home under the guise of school projects or sports related things, but she caught Alyssa kissing 2 different boys. Mind you, this is not in her home. Wait, let me double check. Oh no, this is Alyssa's mom. This is, for a second I thought she was cheating.
But Alyssa's seeing all this while like she's seeing all this and never said anything to Noah.
We don't know that.
But they've been dating since high school.
We might be building up to this.
Because
maybe Noah knew
knows.
every time and stayed.
Noah knows. We've been saying, no, Noah, don't accept it. But Noah has always known.
Maybe has.
Noah
we'll see.
knows.
We'll see. She said she didn't think much of it and just chalked it up to being a crazy hormonal teenager. Like, it was a phase, basically. She also said she never expected her to marry her high school boyfriend, but by the time they were married, she figured that Alyssa had stopped doing all this stuff. Neither her nor I have any idea if she's done anything like that since high school through to the present, but I'm not interested in digging into it further. So she saw her like basically cheating a bunch in high school. She's like, it's a phase. Doesn't know if it's gone beyond that to when they were actually married.
But so Duchess Cassandra says this is when she was in school. They were dating already. It's high school sweethearts.
Exactly. They were in a relationship. 100%. So this explains why Alyssa was just so nonchalant about cheating, because apparently she's always done it. I'm guessing her girl boss friends awoke something inside her and she remembered how easily and nonchalantly she could cheat, and it inspired her to just do it again? I don't know. I'll be honest, I kind of yelled at her mother something I'm not proud of. Like I've said in previous posts, Alyssa's mom is basically my mom, so formalities and everything aren't something I think about when I talk to her. So I freaked out and I told her that she set up Noah for this kind of life. when he could have found somebody 10 times better. She took it like a champ and just let me vent until I was calm again. I apologized for yelling, but calmly said, you and I both know Noah deserved better. You should have said something before he got married to her. She agreed, but said it's too late to focus on that now, and that the real issue at this time is supporting Noah. Again, this is Alyssa's mom being like, you know,
they're all so close. I mean, they've known each other since high school.
Yeah. I told her if she wanted to support Noah, she could have told him his fiance was a cheater 10 years ago and hung up on her. I've since talked to her. We're fine, but I was mad at her at the moment. I just want to take a pause right here. We're far from over. We're a quarter of the way through this juicy update. But I think that this is like another time that OP's kind of shown that she kind of like very quickly, like she wanted to go nuclear. She yelled at Alyssa's mom, who's like a mom to her, you know? One, do you think that was crossing a line? She has a close relationship with her, but she kind of attacked her for it.
I mean, like, I understand what she's saying.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, if you knew, why didn't you, say anything before? But I mean, there's only so much I think as a parent you can do with adult children.
Yeah.
Presumably she hoped that Alyssa was not cheating on Noah at the time, and probably didn't know that, was probably does seem aware that she cheated in past relationships, was like, hopefully not this one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the only thing we knew for sure was she knew that she was cheating and getting with other boys while they were dating in high school, and just assumed it was
over.
Maybe it wasn't dating 100%, but they were,
yeah, in which
together
case,
to an extent.
Yeah, I mean,
least.
she definitely should have said something if she knew and Noah didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I also to my earlier thought of like should she kind of push Noah? I think that I don't trust her. I think she's like quick to frustration.
Yeah, very impulsive.
Very impulsive. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. And that quality being there makes her a bad person to be like pushing Noah towards that. So echo anything he wants to do, but yeah, don't push him outside of anything he's not ready for in the moment. I would say that's my call right now. But let's get back into it. So next thing that happened was the photos that got back to a colleague.
Photos.
And both of them were out of job before the vacation was even over. It's done. Boss, affair partner, and Alyssa fired.
Whoa. Well, they posted all of their pictures.
What did they expect?
Yep.
They were so stupid.
What did they expect? Thought they could hide it? You freaking idiots.
They didn't even try to hide it.
As I assumed, their workplace was extremely upset and did consider Alyssa getting the promotion favoritism, and they were both let go. Noah told me there was at least 3 HR complaints about them already, so it was a no-brainer. Of course, the beautiful relationship Alyssa and her affair partner had turned sour as soon as he learned that he was let go from his 6-figure job because of her. He was so pissed, he even canceled Alyssa's plane ticket back home out of spite.
Okay, this guy's stupid. What do you mean? What does he mean because of Alyssa? It's because of him.
But is this a man of sound empathy and logic?
No.
Maybe he didn't think Alyssa would post.
So it's like, oh, you posted us. That's what got fired. Or that's what got us fired. Possibly. But this bro is an absolute lunatic maniac. Possibly, I mean, this is like he's abusing his power. It could be even grosser than we know now, but we'll leave that to the side for now. He was so pissed, and he had planned to leave her stranded there on the vacation. So
what a whack dude.
Disgusting.
Gross.
This is where all of you will be disappointed, and so am I. But Noah immediately forgave her. Bought her a plane ticket home and moved her back in with him.
She's just going through a phase.
Just a phase.
She's
like 10 year. It's like a decade cycle. This was like the first decade, and then it'll be like another decade. Where she's like kind of like feels a little bad.
It's a little hot pass. And then
the third decade,
let your feminist woman be free. They're not caged animals. They can't be within the bounds of monogamy. Sometimes You just gotta let them fly.
You just gotta sleep with your boss, like a little or a lot, you know?
a little or a lot. And hey, added benefit, more money for the family.
Whoa. Look at that. Hey, everyone's winning.
A lot
Everyone's
of people
winning.
sleep with their boss, but do a lot of people sleep their way to the top? It takes a certain kind of person to be able to do that.
Sleeping your way to the top while giving top? Wow. Look at that.
See, there's sloppy toppy, and then there's precise toppy. And I feel like
This was
this lady's
precision.
giving some precision toppy.
Wow. Well, she told him that it was all just a huge mistake, and seeing how her affair partner treated her made her realize what she could have lost, or maybe that she was now without a support system because he would not take her in. You decide. It's obviously all BS to me and my husband, but you already know that Noah ate this crap up. He's told us that he's urging her to go to couples counseling, but of course it's not an ultimatum. So basically she just got to have her cake and eat it with no consequences. We told Noah previously and reminded him that if he decided to take back Alyssa, that we were at the very least going to go low contact, at the very least. We kept to our word and have completely blocked Alyssa and have Noah unblocked, but we don't plan to engage in small talk or invitations to stuff.
You think that's a good move?
Yeah,
Cutting off his only support system.
I would love to. Let's poll that too. I'm very curious on the chat and write your thoughts in the comments below. I'm extremely curious to
I
hear.
would go
what
no
you guys have to
contact.
say.
I would go no contact with Alyssa for sure.
Yeah, I think
But-
Noah. I'm not sure. I don't know. Now we refuse to be like him and act like this just never happened. He understood, but told us that he has to stand by the vows that he made to his wife, which we both understand to an extent.
She didn't
And we
stick
wish
by
them
them though.
I mean, exactly.
You know,
I just.
but if they both don't stick with them, It's kind of
Yeah,
like
exactly. Two wrongs don't make a right.
exactly.
Oh,
it's like
man.
how like a bridge has multiple fail safes. Like if the suspension with the cords break, like there's like the concrete that backs it up.
Exactly.
He's the concrete that backs it up when the suspension cord breaks.
He's the concrete, and he has been stretched and wiggled out.
He's
let
been
me tell
wiggled.
ya.
Yeah, he has been used and abused, but he's sticking strong.
Level 7 earthquake. What is it? 7 Richter scale
Yeah.
earthquake or whatever it is.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, 8 Richter scale
8.
earthquake. I
This
think
is-
we're getting.
This is as bad as it gets.
Then that might be 9. I think the worst. I don't think we've ever had more than a 9 Richter scale
On Earth
on Earth. Well, because we have
that we've recorded.
yeah, because Richter scales go up exponentially. So
Whoa.
like a 7 is like 8. An 8 is 10 times worse than a 7, and a 9 is 10 times worse than an 8, and a 10 is 10 times worse than a 9.
Whoa.
And the biggest has ever been like 9 point something.
That sounds like this.
Yes.
In summary. So yeah, Alyssa got to sleep with another man, go on a nice vacation, lose her job, and still gets a bed and a husband to come home to. All's well that ends well. I don't know how to feel about that. Like if they want to live their effed up broken marriage life, that's their choice. I'm not even mad anymore. I'm just drained. I could understand that. I'm almost glad it's over now because I don't know if I could deal with this for months on end. I knew this was going to happen eventually. It's just who Noah is, but it just feels as idiotic as it sounds. I don't know if I'm just rambling at this point. I'm glad we decided to step back because honestly, both of them have very clear psychological issues that need to be addressed with a professional, but neither of them will ever do that. I'd rather be rid of people like this. Sorry if I'm being blunt or mean, but at the end of the day, both of them have issues I didn't sign up to deal with. I don't need this kind of stress while hubby and I are trying for kids. So yeah, this is it, I guess. Yep. There's a few quick relevant comments, but just to put a pin on the question we asked earlier, which is, do we go low contact? Currently, chat, more votes, get them in. Currently, 100% of chat is saying it's a good move to cut contact with Noah and be out of this. I think now, at this point, I do agree with it.
I would go no contact with Alyssa. I would go lower contact. And say,
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm here for you if you ever need it. But I really don't think this is the best decision for you. But it's also like, they're like essentially like family at this point.
Yeah.
Like they've known each other since high school.
I think I would go probably virtually no contact. So like very close to it. And I'm just getting the sense that, you know, and I think this is what OP is trying to convey too. OP could intervene, could push him, could do all these things, which she's been active and involved in this whole process. And it's highly likely that nothing ever changes and she just gets tugged around in this crazy roller coaster. So it's like, ultimately, at the end of the day, what's the point? And it is.
No, you're right. You're right.
Her battle to fight.
Yeah, I'm low contact. I would love to know what you guys think. Put your answers in the comments. That was
Yeah.
a wild ride, though.
Tell us why. Well, wild ride. Close out with these comments. So UTZ Chip S22 says, I feel for Noah. He'll always be a sucker for her, and she'll always get away with anything. No consequences for anything. No contact is an ultimatum. Sigh. No contact is not an ultimatum. Sigh. Unbelievable. No, I feel like it's not. MC.
Minimum contact?
Minimum contact. Marriage counseling.
Marriage counseling.
Marriage counseling is not an ultimatum. Sigh. Unbelievable. Maybe one day he'll catch her with a guy in their own bed and he'll snap out of it. You did the right thing the way you handled it and distance yourself right now. Don't turn your back on Noah, though. He's going to need people. Not so it seems like they're against kind of what we're saying and like stay in contact and keep kind of pushing him. Not so religious now says, I feel no sympathy for Noah. He needs to find his cojones from wherever she hid them, because she will cheat on him again and again, and he will always stupidly take her back. You're completely justified from staying away from that mess. I don't know if I agree with the severity of that, because he seems like he's such a good guy, but ultimately it's kind of like, yeah, it does seem like he'll keep going back.
Yeah.
So, and then Plastic Bottle says, Noah's blind loyalty is sad. He deserves better. He's choosing misery. But you can choose to tap our profile and join us every single weekday at 3 p.m. PST. You can be here live looking at craziness like this.
That you can.
Come on.
But that's where we end.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Noah, I hope you find peace and love and
Please.
a way away from this drama.
If you're watching this, Noah, and have gotten away from her or just have an update, listen, we'll have you on the show.
Yeah.
Partner.
You are being an
We feel
American
for you.
idiot.
That is true.
But
But you can walk
You're
this
our
lonely
idiot.
road, not alone.
yeah, you got the whole okay
We hope that you
Storytime
wake
fam.
up when September ends.
It is October. It's time to wake up, boy.
Come on.
Time to wake up. But if you love us, make sure
This
you
is a
wake up and
warning
subscribe.
for you.
This is a warning.
We love you
And see you tomorrow.